Pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty well. Enjoying my Sunday. I've had a day off for most of today. It's kind of nice because I've been had
I've been
a
on the
really busy
grind.
week. Yeah, so it was very relaxing today. Did some cleaning, got my space in order because it was getting a bit chaotic. So that feels good. But yeah, that's pretty much
Nice.
my day.
Oh
How are
yeah.
you?
Go ahead.
Okay, so actually nice. I love doing high elo coaching. It's favorite.
Yeah,
You get,
cause my issue, I guess, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, it's like I'm trying to climb to Hailu, I've been spamming solo queue the last week. I've been doing pretty well, but I want to know how to, maintain that level mostly, I guess.
hmm
And,
Yeah. So I think it boils down to consistency. I mean, I know it sounds a bit cliche, but
yeah.
I think that's one of the issues that I'm personally having in solo queue right now. Is what's happening to me is I'm playing my heart out in all my competitive matches and my scrims, and then kind of like mindlessly playing solo queue late night, and then just not really climbing, like kind of stagnating in solo queue because of how important it is to be like really critically thinking things, like breaking down, like for instance in games, like it's really easy to just be autopiloting and like yourself, but thinking about like your team win conditions, like how other matchups are going to play out, like how you need to make your lane in accordance with other lane states. For instance, like if you have like a volatile top matchup, you're like, all right, I know like maybe I need to chill a little bit more bot lane. Or if you've got like an autofill top laner, you might know, okay, maybe I need to like kind of go into this game and play more aggro and coin flip it a little bit. Like some of those mind games can be like what makes or breaks like winning solo queue games when there's so much variance and like NA solo queue ladder. Especially I don't know what time of day you queue, but like if you're queuing like late nights or mornings, like you're not going to be playing with LCS players and you need to be like
Yeah.
hard carrying games. And you're at the elo where like if you queue at like peak hours, you're going to be hitting pro players. So like there's actually like some of the declining strategy actually becomes like, okay, what time of day are you playing? How are you
It's
scheduling?
interesting.
Are
Yeah,
you
I've been
scheduling like
playing from, let's say 1 p.m. until, around 10 p.m. every day.
yeah, those are pretty stable hours. Like I think that's
That's the
probably
best game quality I've had. I've played late night and it just feels very low quality and kind of flip. But I feel like if I play well during the day, then I normally win.
you know what time zone are you referring to? Can you say
EST,
that?
EST.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I play a bit better, a bit later than that, and the reason for
Hmm.
the why I do that is so you think of the pro scrim block, like usually they're finishing at like say maybe 8, 9 Eastern,
Gotcha.
depending on how things go. So I try to like snipe lobbies like right when the pros get out. So
Oh,
I'll
I
get out
see.
of scrims and then I'll wait. But I'm also kind of like a degenerate. This thing is my full life. So like for some people that's not totally feasible because they need to have some semblance of work-life balance, you know. So
Yeah,
this is some of
that's
the
fair.
before we get into the gameplay. These are just some interesting things to talk about because when you're really trying to approach like climbing from like because when I'm looking at you, I'm like, oh, you're already pretty much challenger with like a pretty respectable win rate. So these things do matter for you. Like when I'm
Yeah,
coaching
no,
like
they do.
a mid diamond player, it's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Just like focus on the fundamentals and get better. But like these are some of the extra things that like a lot of players in your range don't necessarily consider, but they're actually like so OP for climbing. Especially like dodge abuse. That's another one that I
Yeah, I
think
haven't
it's
dodged
not.
much. I only dodge when it's autofill players and such.
Yeah, I recommend not over dodging until you're at a point where you're like, okay, I'm really confident in my play. I'm just trying to like peak you though. But like for practice, it's really good. I recommend just dodging like autofill supports where you know your game's going to be unplayable, and
Yeah.
it's just a waste of your time. But
Okay.
otherwise, I recommend playing most lobbies. But yeah, those are just a few things I wanted to discuss before we get into the actual gameplay stuff. Of course, at the end of the day, the gameplay stuff is going to be the most important. But I thought that was relevant because
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, just
I'm trying to peak right now, I guess, and
yeah, exactly. It's
yeah.
directly applicable to your goals. That's
Yeah.
why I mentioned it. So,
Thank you.
alrighty, let me open up. Which do
Yeah,
you want? Is there one
whichever
of these that you want
one
to go
you
first?
think. Yeah, so one of them I got an early lead and lost, and one of them I tried to I recorded 10 games. I just thought about which ones would be the most informative, and so one of them is a bad early game, so I want to improve the early game on that one, and the other one is just having an early lead and using it to win. In that game, I lost.
Okay, so let's look at the bad early, good late first, maybe.
Sure.
Just to start on, because then we can see what went differently between like the weak early game compared to the strong early game, like what things you did differently, and then maybe they're in line with some of my recommendations or whatever it may be. But yeah, let me turn on
That
screen
sounds
share real
good.
quick. One moment. All right, how are we
Yep.
looking?
Yep, I can see everything.
Perfect. Alrighty.
Yeah, sorry if the quality's kind of bad. It might still be processing.
Yeah, it's
Should be
alright.
fine.
It's it'll be enough to get the gameplay across.
Yep.
So we're looking at Jinx Lulu versus Kate Bard. Okay, so I really like this matchup for your set. It feels like hard waiting IMO. Unless Bard can like get a gank set up at some interval, especially like post 6. But I would imagine you guys have push in this lane. Maybe not early if you're leashing, but let's see. I wasn't looking at topside champs on enemy team, so I'm waiting for you to press tab again.
Yep.
Um,
I don't remember if I did. I played so many games in a day.
Do you? Okay, so I see Conquer on Jinx. That's
Yeah.
I know there's the debate between.
I do
Tempo
have
and
like a
Conquer.
reasoning for what I take either. I don't know if it's right though. Normally, I take Conquer in most games, and mostly I think, can I keep the stacks? And if I think I can keep up the stacks and be able to get them, then I just take Conquer. If it's like the fight's kind of sporadic, I normally take Tempo, where I can't always be free hitting. But I feel like this
Okay.
game, I'll need that.
I like the logic. I was watching a double lift video where he broke down why he thinks the lethal tempo is almost always better, and I've been kind of
Okay.
just one tricking lethal tempo since then. I'll link you the video.
Yeah,
I can
actually, I
record
don't really
after.
know. That's just what I've learned from playing myself. I don't really consult
Yeah.
anybody.
No, there's definitely validity to Conquer though, because it feels so incredible when you're like full stack and get a reset. Like it's so insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so right here, I would never in solo queue. I don't give a fuck if my jungler is like LCS player. I'm not gonna lose XP on first wave just to leash my jungler in solo queue. Like that's
Yeah.
it's such because like in solo queue you
I
need to
think,
play
did
with
they
like
pull the
stealth.
wave or did it just die? No, they didn't
I'm
even
pretty-
pull the wave. Yeah.
They didn't even pull the wave. I think it's well. Okay, first off, I know it's kind of dangerous to walk through try, but like when you see them showing on wave right here, you can walk try immediately.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's true.
So I always try to walk try if possible, just because it saves time. But if you don't see them showing on wave, then what I would do is I would just walk to lane, giving a short leash. I mean, I guess the
Okay.
Shaco's doing some cheesy clear, so maybe he needed the big leash, but it's just so unreliable.
Yeah,
in solo
now I
queue
have
to,
to
like,
give push.
Yeah, like you're making it so it's like, okay, my jungler is ahead, but I'm behind. Like this is something I would be okay with in competitive if like I know my jungler is like gonna make it work and like get to pacing on top side or something.
Yeah.
But if it's just a random in solo queue, like I can almost guarantee that more often than not, it's not. So just playing selfish, especially on AD carry because it's like one of the most resource intensive roles, and it can really snowball. So in solo queue, I play like exceptionally greedy. Only caveat is like I will drop waves to rotate the fights when necessary because a lot of times the game can snowball out of control off of early skirmishes. But for like little things like these, like more often than not, it's putting yourself first. Important AD carry. Because right now, like this whole lane stage is just really hard to play out. I think mechanically, this was just like you kind of like were really predictable here, but you were kind of just walking in a straight line when you were like approaching from this area. So like right here, I know you're kind of greedy in the CS, but okay, at this stage of the lane, like health is more important than getting gold on CS at pretty much almost every single lane matchup. Because like getting the health advantage is going to determine who's going to get the future CSs. So like you're getting really punished for greeting a CS that wasn't really yours.
Yeah.
I know it kind of sucks to be in this position because it's like a product of the leash, and you probably would have had to push, and it's just but you kind of have to cut losses because the only way this is going to get really awkward if your jungle is clearing up and you know they started in lane, so their jungler is clearing down, and you're getting chunked under turret while they're prio. Like you could very realistically get dove by like coordinated players, or and it like forces your team to have to TP or your jungle to fuck is pathing just because you got chunked while jungles are pathing away from you and into you on the enemy side. So like
yeah,
it's
that's a good point.
CSing like the health trade already is like true enough for 2v2 matchup, but then it's like I see it being doubly bad right here because of the way the jungles are pathing. And then right here, your movement was just kind of, I don't know, it felt like that Caitlyn Q was very dodgeable. It felt like that Caitlyn Q was very dodgeable, and it's just a small mechanics thing. But that 110 health, that's like that's like 15% of your HP pool. I can't actually see how much HP you have exactly. Okay, so maybe so less than, but like, still like a significant portion. So, right now, like your lane is just kind of fucked, and you're gonna be reliant on like them not punishing you correctly in order for you to just get like passive regen and D-Blade lifesteal. Like
Yeah.
right now, if you're against good players that are coordinated, you're getting dove every time. And your support kind of trolls that cannon. That's not much you can do about that one, other than maybe be in range when you see him going for it, because you're kind of just like S keying, like
Yeah.
like emoting and shit. Like it's one of those ones like I'm laughing because the situation sucks and I'm not paying full attention.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
like
just
I missed a bunch of CS in the early lane. Like there's some misplay, and it was also because of whatever happened at the beginning too.
hmm Okay, we walked around. That was good movement around the turret for the TS, even though like didn't work out perfectly. I saw
Yep.
your movement was very fluid there, so I liked that. Looking good. But yeah, right here, I'd be one thing to consider is yeah, like just hitting the wave a little bit if possible, because like you don't want, okay, this is perfect. Because like you don't want the turret to be doing any damage to the minions at any of these points, because you always want to be killing the minions with getting maximum lifesteal. It's just a little thing. So
Okay.
it's perfect wave management here. Like I see sometimes people will try to thin the wave by like pulling minions into turret and letting them hit the turret or get hit by the turret, right? But like you want to always be the one thinning. You did it perfectly. It made me think of that as a
Okay.
little side note. Like, just because at this stage, like the thing I'm thinking right now is like, okay, we have no way to really pressure. I'm just gonna be maximizing my life steal, and keeping the wave in a good position. Those are my two priorities. Because you're actually like stabilizing really well. Like I don't know what the fuck their bot lane did.
Yeah,
They
they're
took
kind of
like the
trolling.
weirdest base timer, or like just randomly roamed, or like what? I think they Kate based, right? But that made no sense. Like you just got out so easy for how fucked of an early situation it was. Like if this is like a game or like top like Korean solo queue or something, like you're 10 CS 01 right now. Like so
Yeah, I
maybe not.
agree.
Maybe that's a bit
No,
hyperbole, but
but
like
I see what you're saying. Like with the whole dive thing, I didn't even consider that at the beginning of this game.
Mhm.
At the beginning of the lane.
It's just like that's one thing I look at every single game without fail is what are the junglers and their pathing. Like cuz that's going to determine everything about my lane, cuz the same trade could be winning or losing based on jungle pathing always. And then of course like another thing to consider is like, okay, is it like control mage versus like roaming mid laner? Like I might consider like, okay, enemy mid probably has prior early game because it's Triss Victor matchup, and he's just kind of trying to scale and get his evolves. So like it's good to not make the game too volatile early until you're like up into positions like this at like the 5 minute timer where your jungle's on his second cycle of camps and can be around you.
Mhm.
Because like who knows, maybe it wasn't just like you getting dove by their jungle clearing down, but like Trist like wins hard early levels against Victor. He could like do like a 2-wave crash dive bot level 2 type thing. Like that's those are very
Yeah.
real angles that exist, that just because they aren't being executed doesn't mean that like you shouldn't try to put yourself in those situations. But this is all pretty good. Now I'd be just thinking like, okay, my economy is stabilized really well, but the only issue is I'm not gonna be able to get any pressure till I get a base timing. So like navigating how you're getting a base off is like your strategy right now. And it's good. This is really good trades. It's like it's a winning trade, and then also like taking a winning trade when you're the one that wants the base is of course doubly as good because you're gonna be fresh. It feels weird. Okay, so I wasn't paying good attention to jungle pathing, but it feels like
Mhm.
you shouldn't have to stack this wave. So I'm not sure, maybe, but I.
Because I figured I would just sack it and then come back and then stabilize. Because I already have a good amount of gold, and if he gets like an extra wave at this point, it's not going to change much in terms of his
Yeah.
pace.
So it's definitely it's a safe play that works. Like I'm not saying this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not necessarily wrong, but I'm just wondering like looking at like min maxing if this was necessary. Because what I'm thinking right now is I'm thinking, okay, their second red just spawned and our second red just spawned. So like their junglers can be on their red and our junglers can be on our red. So like we're okay in this timer. And like the thing that I was also considering is how much mana you had, because Jinx's push is all dictated by her mana because of how insane rockets are at pushing.
yeah.
So when I see that you have a biscuit, half HP and mana, and I know that their jungler is going to be on second red while your jungler's on our red, I'm thinking of like, okay, well, actually Rumble just showed right now, so he was in bot river. I just got a glimpse of that briefly.
Okay.
But like, I do still feel like with Trinket ward up, a biscuit here, and the fact that you just got that really winning trade, that you're not pushing your limits by just stacking a wave to base here. Even
Okay.
though like I know like this play it's not necessarily bad. Like it's you're stacking a wave in a plate, but like you're not like you're playing to not be a liability instead of playing to like try to carry. feels like right now. But I guess that's kind of the mentality of when you're playing Jinx in the early game to some extent.
Yeah,
But like
that
with how
is
strong their
generally
lane
how
is,
I think I generally do play like that. Especially when I have like Lulu, I'm like if I'm behind a bit, like it doesn't really matter because Lulu kind of makes up for it.
yeah. I totally I understand the mentality behind that, like the cause and effect, but it doesn't change that like we should still try to look to maximize
Yeah, no, I
each
agree.
situation. But it's good to wait for the plate to die here. That's
Yep,
perfect. So
yep.
she actually only got one plate. I like that a lot. That's unlucky. It happens to the best of us. But definitely, you don't need a coach to tell you to not to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So, yeah, this is good to just hard wave crash here. I think just a small thing is like trying to rocket melees too when they're clumped. Like you probably could have killed the wave in like 2 less autos, which may be like 1 minion difference for Kate, but it's nitpicky. Just like always try to look for those things.
Okay.
Okay, you guys are kind of split up here. This is kind of awkward for Lulu. I think I'm not sure what your contribution can be here. It's kind of awkward situation. I think everything you're doing is alright. It's some unnecessary damage, but shit happens.
Yeah, I guess I was just trying to be nearby in case something broke out, like staying out of danger, because there's no way for me to catch or anything.
Are you taking the space, or you should stay? I feel like. Is it just for boots and pink?
I think yeah, I don't even get anything. I just didn't think I would lose much.
Yeah, that felt really troll. That was like
Okay.
okay, like because you're sitting on refill stack and the wave's crashing. Like you aren't gonna lose much, but you are gonna lose something, and it feels like right this whole early game you're just playing to like you're slowly bleeding. Like you're not as your like CS per minute is like pretty low given that like you haven't necessarily been ganked or anything.
Gotcha.
It feels like it's just about maximizing your economy in the early game as AD carry is all. So you probably lost what like 2 minions, so it's not a big deal. But like that's 2 minions. She's getting the plate, and then you're walking back to your wave. Like yeah, I was just about to say, imagine
Yeah.
if you're. I was before Rumble showed up out to the bush. I'm like, okay, imagine if you're getting dove on this time.
Well, it's like I was afraid this was gonna happen if I stayed.
But it can't happen if you stay. That's the thing, because if you
Okay,
look
let me
back,
see.
if you stay.
Yeah.
So hold on, let's go back to where this all transpired. So wave crashes here, it's bouncing, this is all fine. This chick kind of breaks out, it's awkward, but it's whatever. Bard flashes, they're chasing. So right now, as soon as I see this happening right here, okay, so it would be even sooner. Like
Okay.
right here, as soon as I see this Bard flash, I'm out. I'm outie. Unless I see Victor moving. Okay, so right now you look at Victor's conditions, he's like no ult, he's just out of commission, right? Jungle topside. I mean, obviously these things are way easier to assess in hindsight, so I'm not faulting you entirely. Like I'm not saying that I would totally react 100% correctly as fast as I should. But like as a hindsight, I can totally see what should actually happen here, right? So like as soon as this Bard flash happens, you're thinking, okay, that play Lulu's either dead or running into Africa, and it's a doom play.
Yeah, like I can't really contribute.
What I'm doing right now, this is a concept called cheating the wave, and it's like when the enemy technically has numbers or technically have prio, but they're preoccupied, and you just go kill the next wave immediately. And this happens a lot around drag. Like say it's like they're on dragon. Like say imagine the same situation. Those 2 champions like plus Caitlyn, so all 3 champions are hitting dragon. Like you could technically, well, it's kind of hard when it crashes on their side, but like it's more so done in a neutral wave state when they collide in the middle.
Yeah, and then get it to crash.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but in this instance, I think you could just like full commit to the next wave, or if not, maybe not. Like so, say that okay, right now she disengages. That's just the concept I wanted to teach you. But it's say in this instance they disengage, it's a dead play. You can't get this next wave. Well, first off, you shouldn't have taken the damage, but second off, after you take that damage, you can just pop Biscuit refill, and you obviously want to play slow to not get tunneled by Bard. But this wave is gonna crash, or not full crash. Will it full crash?
I think it's. I figured it was gonna hold right outside for a bit and then crash.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna hold off in the neutral zone. And it's not a full crash because she's gonna 2-stack the cannon wave, and when it's crashing, like on your quarter, you can clear it with rocket. Like you have 3 points in Q. Like you have plenty of range. Like this right now is. You can't see it right now because you're looking at mid lane, but this is when you'd be hitting the wave, and you would pretty much be full HP, slightly missing mana because you'd have to be using rockets and biscuit, but it's okay because you're maximizing your economy because you didn't buy anything. You bought 1 pink ward. Like that is just the most useless buy I mean, it's not for buy. You're basically
Yeah,
just
it's not for
kind of
buy, but
HPA
yeah,
mana.
yeah. I don't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
get
but
anything
like,
for recalling.
but like you technically didn't need to because you still had the refill and biscuit in inventory, you know. So it's not like you're selling the biscuit for a buy or anything. Like you could still technically use it, and the refill, like it's technically inefficiency to like base on refill with one stack, even like it's like a min max thing. But like even if you're recalling with refill one stack, you should press your refill because it's gonna refresh anyway, right?
Hmm.
So it's just all those little things. It's just a way of thinking. But now this situation is just so fucking awkward for you. Like it looks like you're totally fine, but like it'd be so much nicer to be able to like free farm rather than. I guess they're just randomly inting, so
But yeah, like
it works,
the
but it's
dive
not the
doesn't
result.
work, but the idea behind it is what you're
Yeah, it's
talking
like
about.
they're hard failing versus like a Shen with TP out. Like it's not. It's them inting. Like what realistically should happen is they don't commit to the dive even, and they just like play for wave. Like they play to get TP. If they get TP, they just instantly back out. Or what happens is they can if your teammates don't TP, then you're gonna get zoned from the wave. So if they execute this correctly, it should be a winning for situation for them every single time if they don't botch us horrendously. Because you're in a losing situation and like they can always react appropriately to whatever your response is. Like either
Yeah,
you
but
do
if I stay, that doesn't happen.
yeah. No, if it stays, you
Okay.
totally have a window. I mean, unfortunately, I can't see in this first
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
looking at mid, but like I guarantee you right now, so if you can't hit the wave anytime up until like right about a couple seconds from now. Like you see where Caitlyn
Yeah, I
Caitlyn
do,
is
yeah.
currently hitting this wave. She's auto queuing the wave right there. And like you're not in any threat from even if Bard were to try to ult you, you're not gonna die right there. Like you're pretty much under turret. And you have heal Lulu. Like and I think that is a perfect time for you to be just pressing because you still have the Noon Quiver, so you have plenty of damage. So you can pretty much two-shot the caster creeps with your Q. The melees maybe takes like 4, but still, like the rocket range is like you outrange Caitlyn at this stage, so
Yep.
there's no way to even trade to you, especially if she's behind her minions. Like the fact that you didn't then this like right you see it right here like and this is after she killed almost the entire cannon wave.
So I could have
Like,
been autoing like both the melees and the melees coming in and the ranged minions from the previous wave.
pretty much this entire section of the wave can be dead.
Right. Okay.
And that thins it enough to where realistically like okay, so then they have like 6 minions, one of them being the cannon, and then Lulu can just use her relic after it's hit a few times, and then they have no wave, and then it's like okay, it's kind of a dead play. Like your turret stays much healthier too. Like your turret is getting blasted for being 9 minutes, which I mean I guess that's kind of Caitlyn lanes, but it shouldn't be this bad. Like imagine if they played this non-committal to where like TP can't really fuck them. Like you don't have any TP wards, so if they're playing the ranges, like you can't actually get a TP flank. That's another thing. That's a good habit. Like actually, like right here in this window, I was kind of thinking about it, but
I normally drop wards in the bush, like you know the far bush.
Yeah. You probably see me do it plenty if you watch my stream. Like I do it all the time, where it's like when this play is like dead, and you're like walking down, you could have like sneaked the TP word somewhere. Maybe not in this exact window, but like.
But yeah,
generally.
wait. Do you think the bush ward is better or the one outside the wall? Like
it depends.
Okay.
I think that if you're playing solely for TP ward, then the one outside of the wall is like pretty OP, just because it cuts both flanks. Like you're putting the one that's like closer to river, like they can't go river because if you're putting a lane one, it can be kind of awkward. Like it just gives them a better angle. So generally, I try to go for that one. The downside is they can see that if they're anywhere in the lane, so it's harder to actually get that one if they're there. Whereas like you can drop the lane bush ward pretty discreetly oftentimes by being in the other bush. Because it's one of the important things is they can't know that you have the ward because good players will play around that. Like in competitive games, people are always perma sweeping their lanes because they know that that's what people are trying to set up.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of a fucked situation. I don't know if you could have any way to survive once you're in this.
What I figured was just I can't be walking up like this if, like, regardless of the wave, like if Lulu doesn't sweep the side bushes, I can't really do that because we just used RTPs and didn't commit theirs. I'm pretty sure, if I can remember correctly. I remember thinking that I can't do this if Lulu doesn't sweep the bushes, like along the side of the lane.
Yeah, it just feels. Okay, so I feel like, yeah, it's just fucked if you don't sweep. I'm trying to think if there's anything that you can do to be a part of this, but I'm like, there's no way that even committing your pink does anything there. That's just like, your support doesn't even have sweeper.
Okay, I didn't even see that, to be honest. I was like, damn, he has to sweep first.
Yeah, no, I think
I don't know. I
Your
feel like
waves get
support
done.
should always get sweeper on like or very very early. I don't know why he does
Yeah.
that.
And even then, they're committing double TP to do that. So it's like your team's getting shit everywhere. So it's like you're getting the short end of the stick, but like that's
Yeah, it's
kind
not
of
actually that bad.
this shit happens in solo queue, and it's like it's not really your fault. Like you don't have sweep on support. Your team is getting stuff everywhere, can't cover. Like I think even though this is your first death, I don't think it's like nearly as much of a problem as the other mistakes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Like
get it. Yeah.
so. Um, in this wave state, okay, probably just playing the hard push here. Oh, yeah, BC Bard top side. You could play a stack one, but I think I'd play the hard push and maybe rotate mid.
Yeah. I think yeah, I'd say normally I have a good idea of what I want to do with the wave.
Hmm. Yeah, no.
Yeah. That's not normally
Sometimes
the
it's
issue I
just
think I have.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have a good understanding of that, we don't have to go over it
No,
too
yeah,
much.
I'm good with
Just
whatever. If
a
unless
lot
there's
of times,
something important, yeah.
no, just even myself. Sometimes I see like, okay, I have a general idea of what I could do with the wave, but is there a better thing I could do, like a good and better? It's like, okay, could I deny like one extra minion by like slowing down the wave before I hard push it, or
Yeah.
for instance, and still min max? So those are just the kind of things to always think about because
Okay.
it's just all the little advantages always add up for when you're trying. Because you don't get to this level by not having good fundamentals. Like I can point out some of the fundamental things like the base timings and stuff, but like I'm not going to be able to coach you too much on mechanics because that's just stuff you're going to improve by like repetition. But like pointing out all the minutia of what you could be min maxing is I think where I can provide some of the most benefit. Well, not entirely, because of course, obviously, I see some structural things that you could be improving. Like I don't know if that flash is ever worth it, but maybe it's cool for economy.
Yeah,
But
maybe it's not worth.
it just feels weird to like in this situation, just flash ulting for one kill when like you would have actually gotten the same amount of gold by like being on the wave the whole time. Like it feels good to kill this guy, but imagine if you just ran straight bot lane and played for bot plates.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this feels like something I wouldn't go for. I maybe there's a world where this is technically correct because maybe it is more gold, but like I feel like the 300 gold you got for him, and considering you used flash and ult, you probably lost like 100 gold in the bot wave. Like maybe it's technically worth in some world, but
It's only worth if I kill them though, but it's not necessarily guaranteed.
yeah, it feels like
I
it
guess
just
I
feels
thought
like
I could
that's
get
not
both. I don't know.
yeah, it feels like that's not the approach that I would use to like consistently climb in solo queue though. Because like there's worlds where that goes wrong and then you get punished for having no flash and then your win condition is like just slowed down and
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I don't know. I mean, you're still getting really fed, so this is pretty good nonetheless. But like I could just see a world where in like 3 minutes from now you get punished for like losing your flash and
Yeah.
the game just gets kind of awkward. I'm just trying to think of like consistency because that's that can make the difference. But I like the killer instinct though. Don't get me wrong. I love to see that shit. That's really good to have. That's super important. So
Mhm.
I'm not faulting you for going for that at all. Like if anything, that's good practice to go for plays like that. Even though it may not technically be the best
Yeah,
for
I
like
agree.
maxing in the solo queue, it's actually the best practice for you to go for things like that because like there'll be a situation where it is best for you to go for a play like that and you'll mechanically execute it correctly because you have the confidence to go for it. So it's not like it's actually really good in some way too. It's not a black and white thing, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see how this game is. I'm trying to think of. So Victor probably has to stay mid. Like I think the thing that's just so awkward is being in side lane against Bard as a Jinx just feels so awkward. Like
Like
I would
normally
love
I try to
be,
wait for plates to drop and then I basically just steal mid lane for the most part
yeah, I do
whenever I
that
can
a
get away
lot
with
too.
it. Cause like
Especially,
I cannot survive in the side.
Or if you're catching, or if you're surviving, it's literally just gonna be sitting on a turret catching waves, like doing zero pressure, unless you have jungle hover. So
Yeah.
right now you're just playing tower defense. This is all good. You see Rumble lane, you're trying to hold on. Walking to Krugs, this is really good because you can hit it between waves. Some life steal, get the economy. It's always good. Great Krugs window. And you probably just have to give turret anyway. Well, actually, Rumble and Bard walked up, but turret's probably one hit, so you're just catching wave low. You're kind of trading sides of the map here. Like, even though you're the Fed one, Wukong's been getting a lot of the resources as far as jungle proximity. So you're making the most out of what you've got, and that's good.
Mhm.
So kind of like this here that you're stacking up the wave, waiting for the next wave. That way you're not overexposing yourself to clear the next wave. It's really
Yeah.
good.
I normally like to wait and then just so I can safely push the next wave. But even now, it's
Yeah.
kind of, if Lulu wasn't here, I don't know if I would want to go for this.
Yeah,
Maybe
it'd be
I
kinda
would
stupid,
anyways, but yeah.
I think you have to coin flip it because like they're really off tempo if they go for it, and like it could easily turn in your favor. So I think you in solo queue you have to go for those.
Yeah,
waves.
I
Like,
think
unless
at some point, like, you just have to go for the play because you can't, playing safe all the time or like low risk is not worth it.
yeah, it's kind of like the same concept as earlier I was talking about, where you're basing to sacrifice a wave just to make it not volatile. It's kind of you're doing
Yeah.
it like
Okay.
the opposite. You're showing the greediness in the good way, like in that instance. So I think that's good. So, but yeah, I like and of course Victor TP's top right as this play happens. So I guess Wukong's gonna slot into bot. Feels like a winning trade. Feels kind of awkward mechanically. I think you probably
Yeah,
could've
I think I spaced
better,
it pretty badly.
Yeah, and always like throwing your E behind Caitlyn is really good too because she's only got her net. So if she gets stuck on an awkward angle, she has to use her flash. So I think it was a mistake to not at least try to E her there.
Okay.
Because it could potentially be her. I actually she's going Gale Force, so maybe it's just the Gale Force. But even then, that's a winning cooldown trade, right? So nice, good. A little bit of a slip to walk into that, but it's okay. Yeah, just kind of an awkward spot. Let's see how this plays out again. It started off really well, but then it felt like a bit of an overcommit to walk into the Bard stun right here. So you just put yourself. Not only do you take like a big chunk, and
Yeah.
you don't pop refill, but then you're also stuck in a one position for. You pop refill the second before you die.
I don't even know. I didn't even realize Tristan was coming from that angle. I think I got kind of tunneled.
No. It doesn't make a big difference. You're dead either way. I thought it was funny as well.
Yeah.
Like I did, it actually procced, but yeah. So just a slight slip up there, like shit happens. Like I think you're doing everything correctly up until you beat the Bard stun, and then you're just fucked.
Yeah.
But
the HP difference kind of matters. I might be able to live if I don't do that, or if I play a little better.
Yep. I'm just getting a little excited with the passive.
Yeah.
Okay, so here I think it might be good to just run. Okay, if Victor runs bot, it's okay to run mid. Okay. I was thinking maybe like it looked like it might be more efficient for him to just go mid wave at that point and you go bot, but
it's kind of hard to communicate it. Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, everybody should run to dragon, so it doesn't even matter. Like this Caitlyn is just griefing by being there. Okay, well that was definitely a kill, but just a slight misexecution. So shit happens, but
it's fine. We still get objective.
We got the objective. Yes. It's just you always obviously want to get that, but still net positive, so it's no biggie. Hitting mid against Bard feels kind of awkward if he has numbers, but maybe you can. Okay, there it is. Okay, I was gonna say, like you're just gonna get ulted if they have you.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Honestly, like if I get hit by that Bartle, it just seems really bad because then Caitlyn can trap.
Yeah, it's just such a chunk, and it feels like with Lulu's speed, it's actually pretty reliable to be able to dodge it. But
I don't know if I can rely on Lulu to do that though.
Yeah, like she has to instantly W as soon as you're getting hard, and even then, maybe if you juke the same way that he predicted your juke, then it's your flash. But I do like this aggression here. Now you can go ham. No Bard ult. Like this life is good right now. Like you're getting jungle hover, your mid lane, your pocket Lulu with your mythic. Like in this instance, okay, so this is something that I think would be beneficial. Is you've been sitting on your blue trinket like ever since you bought it. I don't think you've used it. Oops, clicked.
Yeah, no, that's actually something again I want to focus on because I don't really know how to use it besides checking Baron or Dragon.
Yeah. So the best way to use it, okay, so obviously checking Baron and Dragon is number one. But if it's not one of those two, what you should be doing is in intervals where you're hitting midwave right here, preferably when you're pushed up, is you want to get the blue trinket somewhere that is useful vision that they're likely to not step. Like a good window where I
likely
see
to not step. Okay.
But like
immediately.
Instance, when you're pushed up on this mid wave,
okay.
What I'm thinking, can you see my cursor?
Yeah, I can.
I'm thinking like this bush right here,
Yeah.
or like this bush right here. Well, this one they can kind of see like if you put it too close because of the mid
In
turret.
the wolves, or you mean in the?
To the left of it, like
Oh
ones
yeah,
that
yeah, the one outside wolves.
yeah, or in like this blue bush
Yeah.
over here, or like it's another good one, like or defensively, like in your if you're on blue side, like maybe or on enemy side, this bush right here, like any of those bushes, just try to cycle your blue trinkets, and generally like
Hmm.
I'll just do it if like okay if there's nothing coming up that I can need, like there's no Baron in, they have no Baron threat until my next trinket, so shouldn't be no issue. The caveat to that is maybe if you're farming side lanes, holding your blue trinket can be really helpful to like give you like a path to know you're safe to catch a side wave. Like usually when you're catching side waves, you can like put your blue trinket in like one spot that'll cover like half the ways that they could potentially kill you. So like maybe in those instances when you need to hold your blue trinket to like catch side waves, that's when I recommend. Other than objectives, that's when you shouldn't be getting rid of it. But otherwise, like in this instance, it's just good to just drop it, right?
No, I totally agree. That's I think that's like definitely a big weakness I have. Like I don't know. I just feel like I never know what to do with it.
Because like imagine right now if you drop it right here, and then the next time their jungle walks from red to Krugs, you know they're on Krugs. Like that
Yeah,
is such
yeah,
huge information
I agree.
off of like in that last infinite until they walk through it.
And I'm not gonna
So,
need that trinket for some time.
all right, well you survive. There's that.
I
That's
feel
good.
like I shouldn't be stepping up to that far. Yeah, that's what I was thinking immediately after this. Because
So
like that's so bad that we have to burn all that.
I think this is just like it's like the Lee Syndrome version of Jinx, where like you get a reset and you want to hit people.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
I have that feeling. Like every time I get a reset, like she's half
Yeah, I
health.
was
you
trying to
get a
auto
reset.
her.
So I can tell you're thinking, okay, if I get this Kraken proc on her, maybe like a WR, I get a kill or something like that.
Yeah,
Or maybe
yeah,
a Chestar with a Kraken proc. But like, it's just one of those ones where it's like, okay, where are they?
yeah. I definitely
You know, like,
forgot
can I
that
do
they had threat on us. Like
yeah,
it's
that's
even a
just pretty
miracle that
morning.
survived this. That was like a really big mistake.
Yeah, so pretty good to get out at least. But
And I was really trying to save my flash, and then that happens. I was like, oh.
yeah, I think you kind of put yourself in a bad spot by walking between the turret versus Bard because it just gives him every angle possible to hit his Q.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, not even close.
No, this holding is so bad. It's just like we're losing so much.
Hmm.
I guess like
Kind of a
I don't
chain
know.
reaction.
And then it kind of
No,
causes. It kind of
you
leads to
can't
that.
cancel that base. That canceling this base right here just kills your tempo really
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Too.
It's really bad.
Like I'm thinking if you get a base off, maybe you can just like throw a rocket from base, like get the long range rocket too. But
I don't
it's
know
just
what
kind
I
of
was
pointless.
thinking. Maybe I was like, maybe I can like auto get a reset and then do something. But
Yeah.
yeah. Just
Only thing I'm thinking is like maybe you have a way to drop an E to peel Victor, but other than that, it's
yeah.
looking at
No,
it,
I see.
probably not the case. So yeah, that's just an awkward sequence of events because
Okay,
okay,
that
so not
kind of
only
did
did
lead
you,
from what happened earlier. Yeah.
yeah, like you lost your flash. There was a wave that was lost. Victor died. Their up tempo, like their map control. I mean, I guess you guys have good pinks around Rift / Baron. That's like one of the big things you have going for you guys right now is that it's very strong central vision that you have right now. Those words. So
Hmm.
that's really good to see. And you guys have better lane assignments right now because Victor's walking into blue to match the Shen, and your Wukong is matching Trist. So like I think even though that was kind of a disaster, like you guys are in a totally fine game state. Like I think this is winnable for sure. You're just gonna now it's the conundrum of like okay, you burned Flash in a way that was arguably an unforced error. So now you're gonna have to play the game kind of hard
Yeah.
mode against Bard for the next 3 minutes. So it's just like maybe you don't get punished and die, but it will definitely limit like the amount of aggression that you can go for. Because with this rapid fire, you want to be trying to get those rapid fire Kraken Slayer autos as much as possible, because those can really chunk people out. Good poke. Yep. And now I feel like you're dead. Yep. It's just no flash. Like if you have flash there, you're alive every time.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just a chain reaction. Looks like. Also, another thing to consider with this trading is that like your mid very clearly wants to catch top wave. That wave is stacked up and he just got blue. So this is kind of their turn.
Yeah, it's a really bad time to fight. I think I was more following Shaco than anything else,
Yeah.
but yeah. Thought we could just
You're
insta-kill him.
definitely following up his play, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's their turn. Feels
Yeah,
like.
yeah. You kind of, I guess you have to override that decision sometimes. Just
Hmm.
not go for it or ping them off.
Yeah, I see what you're going for though. Like I don't. Honestly, I probably would have died the same way, and it's really easy to be like hindsight 2020 with these kind of things.
Yeah.
Um,
But, I mean, that's kind of the way VOD review works, I guess. Maybe I can
Yeah.
think about it differently next time.
hmm Yeah, nobody's a perfect player, so it's just about minimizing errors and maximizing your strengths. So let's see how this plays out. Let me zoom ahead a little bit.
Yep.
Ooh, NT. That's good. Probably shot it right on spawn, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
That's as good of a try as you can get.
Yeah, just toss it and whatever happens, happens. It's fine.
Yeah. That's always worth going for in solo queue, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. The cooldown's really short, too.
Mm-hmm. It's just game changing if it hits, and more often than not, they're not blocking it. So I love that. Good to see. Careful on mid wave around here. I wasn't paying too close attention to their tempo, but they can be pretty fast with Baron
Okay.
recalls. And
I figured should be coming around now.
yeah. I was not paying
Okay.
attention, so
Yeah,
maybe your intuitive read is on point with it. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay.
So
Now
I was
have a
thinking
better feel.
time to shove and then control after that, I guess.
Yeah, you're totally spot on. You have time for drag side. I was just tunnel vision on my little rant about the
Yeah,
the
all
alt, but to see. So yeah, you could probably play for this line pink and get mid wave, especially if you're hugging bush side after getting bush control, because they always have to be scared of the threat of like you having homies behind you. So like I would be hugging towards bot side a little bit here, just because you know that's your safe side. I mean, I guess Bard shows here, so technically it's
I guess I was just trying to space from Bard a bit. Figured you'd be coming from
Yeah.
that side.
yeah, but in general, like you want to kind of
Yeah,
hug your
I
homie
agree.
side. And like actually, it looks like they're getting good damage on the Bard here. Like maybe a fight breaks out and you could get the extra little bit of steps.
Hmm.
It doesn't play out this way, but like maybe in a different world a fight breaks out where being 200 units closer could be better. Just always fundamentals of hugging the same side, unless you're trying to bait something and you don't want to make it obvious, for instance. But just good habits. Yeah, okay, the Shaco's kind of running it. It happens. This drag fight might be just kind of doomed. I think we just sack the dragon, honestly, and just play for waves. I would just try to be spamming back pings right now. Maybe it's a turnable. Maybe Wukong is V9, but feels actually it looks winnable. You can win this, unironically. Oh damn, that's a blower.
Yeah, I think
There's
I
that
really
one.
wanted to fight this. I really wanted to fight this.
Yeah, no, they're so low. Like it's definitely, it feels winnable, but it's like there's gonna be some execution necessary, and that is not the execution. So, okay, let's see how this plays out.
Yeah.
To like reflect on, let's think of conditions to be like
Okay,
team
so
fight
I'm
conditions.
thinking one reset, Lulu shields me, I just minigun and just start spraying, and hopefully I kill 2 or 3 at least.
Yeah, I think there's a world where that could happen, definitely. So let's see how this fight breaks out from the
Yep.
get go, even when Shaco's getting caught. Just let's take a step back. I always like to see things through once before breaking them down. Get a big picture idea. Okay, so he's kind of lost. It's gonna be a tough luck. One thing I do think the traps were kind of random. Like maybe it's just to peel Shaco, but I think that holding the traps for like when they're actually contesting the choke could be really huge. Like did you play Overwatch?
No, I don't.
Okay, so there's a character called Mei, and she has this ice wall, and it's a very common strategy when somebody gets split. You just ice wall them. It's like people do it with the Nivea. I guess it's kind of the same thing, but like it's even more important in Overwatch.
Mhm.
But for instance, like in this choke, as soon as they walk through the choke, like say Shen walks down through this choke, and the rest of them are behind the choke, you just cut off one person because he's just fucked. Like he's gonna get chunked no matter what. Like he can't dash through your chompers, and if he has to dash back over this wall by blue, like that's a very defensive position. Like that's very winning for you guys from to waste his taunt cooldown to dash out. So like that was just kind of being a bit trigger happy on there. Just you want to be strategical with
Yeah,
trap.
I think my trap placement's in general pretty poor. Like I basically only use it as follow-up CC, and besides that, I don't really use them that well.
And then here with your ulti, I immediately see like my instincts wanted to throw the ult somewhere else, and that's I see an isolated target and I see a clump when you throw out the ult here, and the isolated target is a higher prio target, but when you're playing for reset, I think going for clump is so winning right here. So right here, if your ult, I see this angle, and it looks like Okay,
Just
so I
toss it
guess
somewhere in the middle, I guess, and then see if they walk into it.
so you're looking over on this angle and you see
Yeah,
these two.
I see one
but
of those two. Yeah.
But I'm actually waiting. I'm waiting for this clump. This
Okay.
is the clump I'm aiming at, and the reason for it is because like the distance and the angle. It just feels like this is so much harder. But then look at where
Yeah.
they ended up
Yeah.
walking to with this clump. Like anywhere in this angle,
They all get
you
chunked.
probably get a double kill. You probably get a double kill
Yeah.
this angle.
Yeah. I agree.
And it even if they didn't walk that way, in general, you want to hold your alt until, unless you're very confident intuitively that you have the angle, like you want to make it as probable as possible that you're getting the reset. So waiting for like clumps and angles are the biggest things that you're looking for, because some angles are easier to dodge than others, right?
Yeah, I agree. That's a pretty
the
easy
more
one to dodge.
And the more people that are there, the more people that have to dodge it. So if you're getting it clumped on a good angle, you're gonna hit somebody. Like there's no way that all three of them are dodging it unless they're like flashing or dashing, right? So I'm looking for clumps and angles when I'm trying to hit spells like that. And I think a big reason why I haven't a good of intuitive feel for that is because I've probably played like 5,000 games of Ezreal. So it's the same ability if you think about it. Well, it's not, like as far as hitbox goes, kind of.
Yeah, and I guess the sad part about that
Smart.
is, if I get one more auto on Bard, I think I can kill at least Caitlyn, if not Rumble as well.
Yeah, so I think that I think everything was actually, your approach was really good. It was just a lot of execution. And
Okay.
I think in general, it's technically maybe it's a give angle when you it's 4v5 and it's only second dragon and you don't have flash. Like I'm thinking like, so it's hard to say that because you technically could have won that if you played that correctly, but also I feel like the enemy botched it pretty hard too. And when I see 4v5 and like when 4v5 with an asterisk, because one of those players is like a 1-item Victor compared to like 2-item Trist, so like he's way stronger. So like it's like actually like 3.5 v5 IMO, and your flash. I'm thinking like, okay, this is a dead play. This second dragon is not what's gonna win us the game. And also something to consider is, I don't know if you're paying attention, but the top wave during this state was fucked. Like the top. So not only are you guys losing this play, but like this top wave full crashes a double stacked wave into your top turret and then bounces.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that, but yeah, I see it now.
So over the sequence, it ends up being like a 30 CS that dies or some shit ridiculous. Like it's actually like a kill and a half of CS that dies by the end of this play. Maybe slightly less than 30, maybe like 20 some, but still that's like
Yeah, I can see why it would be kind of a bad principled play to go for, just because like it's such a low percentage chance of working versus what's more guaranteed, I guess.
And remember the cheating the wave play that I was talking about before, where it's like they could technically have prio, but you do something while they're doing something else. As soon as this guy dies, I'm running straight to mid wave, and they're gonna be hitting dragon, and I kill this mid wave before they finish dragon. That's
And then
what
you can
as
leave. Yeah.
soon as this guy dies, I'm back. I'm spamming the fuck out of back ping. I'm running to mid wave. I'm killing that mid wave, and I'm walking into their top side. I'm straight up walking to the top side.
Yeah.
I see those.
I see
I'm
that,
eating
yeah.
their chickens and their red off spawn, and I just stopped us. I basically got the same amount of gold that they got for killing the Shaco that I took away by eating their top camps, and then I got the mid wave, so they can't make any play, and they have to go mid wave before getting any map control. And my teammates resetting to catch our top wave at the same time, so we just got like an extra 1,000 gold that didn't exist if we go for this fight, right?
Yep.
So not only did
that.
they kill 3 of your players and get 1,000 gold, but you guys would have gotten 1,000 gold. So that's a 2,000 gold swing off one play right here. And these are the kind of things that are very commonplace and competitive, but it's hard to translate to solo queue because there's some level of coordination. Like you're obviously not controlling this Wukong and telling him to get caught and go back in. But also.
But I'm also not I didn't ping them away.
Yeah.
I was still down to fight. Yeah.
That's where speaking with pings are super helpful.
No, and I totally advocate with that. Like I do normally ping when I'm very sure of something, but in this case, I was like, if everyone's down to fight it, I'm also down to fight it.
Because you are strong, it does feel good to fight. But like when you look and reflect on the conditions, I think that you would agree that it's probably not ideal. Trist is just so strong at that point. Like as far as like a champion that fucks Jinx, at least, like not necessarily game state wise.
Yeah.
Just like she has point and click, like 1,000 damage, gonna get on top of you.
If I don't have flash, then it's just very awkward.
Yeah, they have so much unavoidable damage that I think you almost need to have 5v5 numbers because you need somebody that's soaking some of that damage, or you're gonna get one shot. Like even if it is just a Shaco clone.
Mm-hmm.
So Well, that's a nice pick, at least. That should give you guys some semblance of map control. But honestly, the game is still kind of fucked, though, off that, I feel like. Because, like, even though they haven't gotten too much, you guys are just so slowed down. Like, you're
You
not
know,
getting
it
anything
feels
back.
kind of unwinnable for me at this point. Like, unless they like massive throw, it feels kind of lost.
And the way the reason it feels like that is because you guys aren't getting anything back. Like,
Yeah,
you're contesting these plays and slowly losing, and you're not cross mapping waves. You're not eating camps. Like, your guys' whole jungle has been up, and the entire enemy's whole jungle has been up, and they're killing you guys and getting turrets, so it's okay that they're not farming those, but you guys aren't getting anything. So the fact that, I mean, I guess they don't actually have much of a turret lead, but it feels like their economy is much stronger at this stage. Part of it's champions too. I think it's kind of useless that they have patch 11.9 Rumble and you have a Shaco. Like, that's just lost in draft.
yeah. Although actually, I've had a pretty high opinion of Shaco in general in this patch too. Like, I feel like there's so many Shaco
Really?
one tricks.
I
Just
haven't
as
played too much
players.
on this patch as far as like Shacos at least.
I mean, I've played
So
like a lot of games this patch, and I literally see Shaco like it's to the point where I have to like ban it sometimes. Like, it's just so many Shacos every game.
yeah, maybe it is good, especially
Maybe
as
it's
the
a
solo
solo queue
queue pops
cheese
on.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when I
But
see
Rumble
it,
is so
like,
broken right now, though.
yeah, like their champion
Yeah.
has more gold and scales better with gold, so it's just like he's gonna be more useful as well.
Yeah.
I can
But
see a
yeah,
world
I
where
guess there's
Shaco
still a
ran.
world where I think I can carry into this team still though. If
Oh
I have
yeah,
Lulu, so it's fine.
I think the biggest thing, like I harped on it a little bit, but I just can't understand it, is like the flashes this game have like severely limited your ability to play the game because you're just not able to like maximize your damage because the way you have to position without having flash, and then also like the repercussions of like actually getting caught with no flash.
Gotcha.
Like, it's like the repercussions of getting caught with no flash are bad enough, but it also like it does not enable you to play the game that you want. Because like there's a lot of times where, for instance, your flash is up, you have Lulu speed and you're running at somebody, you can probably dodge the ability anyway with the Lulu speed, but because you have your flash up, you have the confidence to go in there and try to dodge it because you know, oh, if anything happens, I can just press my oh shit button. But sometimes, like, if you don't have the bet, like the get out of jail free card, it can hinder your confidence to really go for a play unless it's like really dire or you're like a maniac. Or
Gotcha.
just like
Yeah,
better
no, that
than I
makes
am
sense.
even because
Makes
like
sense.
I know I feel so much more confident when I have an oh shit button. I feel like that's why Xayah is probably one of my best champions, is because I can play like a maniac on that champion and I always have my oh shit button if I play like out of sorts for whatever reason.
Hmm.
So at this state, there's not really any camps that you can be eating. It's just kind of trying to be on waves on time. Honestly, I would be trying to. Okay, well, this is actually pretty good. Okay, so the fact that you didn't hit traps right there was pretty bad, though. Like, okay,
Yeah.
so
Wait, did they miss? I didn't exactly see what happened.
it was they didn't arm in time. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what I was thinking before this played out. So just because I started talking, but then things happened. I was thinking like, okay, the thing I'm trying to my mini win condition right now would be trying to find a good pink word placement. Like, that's actually like
Okay.
because right now you're kind of getting choked out of the map. So I'd be thinking like, okay, I want to move with my jungle and support and try to get some semblance of control. Because right now, your monkey's off the map and this guy's gonna have first move, so you can't necessarily contest anything. But you guys are gonna want to try to control this zone and control the best you can. You're not gonna be able to walk in as deep as blue buff. It's definitely gone.
Yeah.
If they contest appropriately. But like I would just be thinking, okay, I want to be on waves and I want to play like our line of scrimmage here. So that involves like backing up my jungle support when they want to move places. And I would be thinking about, okay, when they move somewhere, I want to drop my pink ward in a good spot. So this is perfect. This is really perfect right here. You're doing your job. Like, they're moving in for this line of vision around your line of scrimmage. You're playing back because this is good. It's good that you're not standing with them, so you're not clumped getting bar ultied. It's perfect to be back a bit. So this is I like this retake a lot right here. One thing you could even consider is just like throwing a random zap on this retake, just because you could like get a lot of information by like randomly zapping over wall. Just like
Okay.
it's just such a minuscule thing, but that's like a good fundamentals on retake. Like, I'd be thinking like, okay, I'm gonna zap somewhere in this angle right now, just because they're about to face check this shit, and they could be like two people just chilling right here. It's just a good habit to have. Or this is your blue trinket angle. Like, this is a perfect angle to retake with blue trinket. Like,
Where would you put
right
it? Yeah, like I agree, and I didn't even think about it in the time, but where would you put it?
I would be thinking, depends on what info you need. As soon as he does this jump already, and they're sweeping, you could probably go as far as the bush above blue buff, But
Mhm.
up until this happens, I probably would have dropped it like right here. Like if you drop
Yeah.
it like right on
Okay.
this under part, it'll the splash will see this bush in this area right here, and you can see this down area. But then as soon as this guy already jumps over and he's a Shaco, so he's safe to do this. Then it becomes more valuable to put it up here. I would only put it here if you need to retake this area. Otherwise, in the bush here or up there,
Okay.
depending on what info you want. I would probably say the shallow bush, just because. So in
Yeah. Let
this
me see the
situation,
traps.
as soon as I see the Zanyas, I'm thinking traps. That's like it's like it's just like Caitlyn, you know. It's like when you see a Zanya target, I want my traps on that target so that way when they're right out.
Yeah.
Um, so right here, there was kind of like a stutter step away, and then he gets time to flash. Like, I think you thought
Yeah.
maybe he was gonna get Bard ultied
I
or
think I
something
was
too.
okay because like in these fights, like I don't know if it makes sense, but I feel like it's the way that I played out is more on like instinct and muscle memory more than like decisions. Like so, right now I'm thinking like there's people to the right with Bard, but really it's just Caitlyn in mid. But like I in the
Yeah,
moment I thought there was like people behind him, and if I get hit by a stun, I just died. So I was like
yeah, okay,
kind of scared for a second.
that makes sense. That's totally understandable. It's a game of incomplete information, and it's totally natural to like react like that. And that's thank you for explaining that because I can't see that based on your play entirely. So it's helpful to
Yeah.
have the insight because I have things like that all the time where like my teammate in VOD review will be like why the fuck did you do this? And I'll be like I'll explain my thought process, and they're like okay that makes sense. I mean I it doesn't it's not what should happen, but like I get it more.
Yeah.
So
But yeah,
really
I
natural.
totally agree with what you're saying though.
Okay, so as this plays out, okay, it feels just the fact that the Rumble doesn't die here makes this really awkward, and you don't really have any good targets to hit. So I'm thinking this Rumble ult splits you. This is good damage on the Trist. This is all good. Okay, so everything up until this point, I like. Okay, let's see. How does this play out? Okay, so right here, you're just trying to dodge taunt. It looks like, so that's why you're playing safe. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Because I feel like obviously you'd want to be hitting the Rumble if possible, but you don't want to get taunted. So that makes sense. This is all okay because, yeah, kind of a dead play. Like you can't really. Okay, so everything in this fight was fine. I needed to like
Yeah. I mean,
slow
no,
it
no,
down,
I
break
totally
down
understand that.
to look through each little detail. But yeah, that looked totally fine to me. Okay, that definitely should be a pick. Wait, no way this guy doesn't die, right? Okay, you got him. Even it looked like your auto approach was maybe you thought he had like homies over the wall or something, but like
Yeah, I think I might have just been a little spooked once he. Like right now, I thought there was two people over that wall, and I was like, I
Yeah.
get Bard stunned, and then Caitlyn trapped, and I die or something.
Yeah, you get one shot. But your combo was perfect with the WR after hitting the rocket, so that was all good. Eating Gromp. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, Victor's eating mid wave already. So I think ideally somebody would be catching bot wave and you'd be getting mid wave and camps, but
Yeah, I think I was kind of
Solo-
a little bit cheesy that he took the wave, but I was like, I guess it's kind of it's whatever.
yeah, that's why I try to do waves before camps because if the camps aren't going anywhere, it's usually easier because like even
Yeah, that's true.
even if you're just missing one or two minions, it kind of sucks. Like let alone one of your teammates ganking the wave. Um,
Yeah, because
so-
they just think I'm leaving the wave and going for camps, I guess. So that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, but obviously, like aside from your teammates ganking, I usually go camp or waves before camp. The only
Okay.
caveat is if you think that none of the minions will die, or just like one of the minions will die, and it's not a big deal, then camps before is good because you're starting the respawn timer earlier. So it's not it depends on the situation. Like, there's not a one size fits all. Like sometimes it actually is good to go camps. Like say if it's between waves, you can catch the wave high, or you could get a camp. You should always get the camp and then catch the wave at neutral instead of catching the wave high because you're not going to miss any minions and you started the camp cycle.
Yeah.
So it feels like they're just going to try to rush Baron while you guys are holding Dragon, but you have blue trinket. You could always alt check, but this is so scary. Like this is.
I feel like
they're
we just
on
trade.
Baron.
Like we just kind of have to trade.
This is Soul. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't.
I'd imagine.
I'm not. I
their
don't
Soul.
remember. I don't think.
Okay. It's
No,
not.
it's
It's
2-2,
not. It
yeah.
hurts. It hurts, man. You guys just gave Soul Point for Nash.
Yeah.
That's so losing. I guess maybe you guys are scared to retake.
Yeah,
That's the
I
only
think
thing-
no one wanted to retake, and then I was like, yeah, if someone walks in here, someone walks in there, and if they go to Baron, then they just get Baron. We just take the L.
Like right here, maybe it's because your mid laner is bot lane, but this just feels so bad. Like you know they're going Nash.
Like I
obviously,
knew it, but like I was just like, we have to trade because no one's willing to contest, and I don't even know if we win it or not. So
yeah.
just go
I
do
mean,
it.
maybe it's all right, honestly. because if you
Because
if you did
Victor's
Victor bot,
like Victor has
gives you
TP sure, but we can't retake anything without him.
yeah, like it's honestly not the worst. Maybe you need to be throwing a rocket at Baron or something, trying to steal it randomly.
Yeah,
But I get if you can't retake, I guess it's actually the best trade, and maybe bot through it like Victor.
it's like maybe I
But
can get something, and that's nothing's up.
yeah, just a quick little Gromp check. I mean, I guess that's. I mean, maybe I would have not tried to go for Gromp and been at red on spawn. Okay, I mean, I guess,
Yeah,
well, obviously
yeah.
now.
Then you can see what happens from there.
I was gonna say that before that even happened, just for
Yeah,
like, because I see Shaco eating red, and the fact that you not being red on spawn almost guarantees that they take it. Like, I wasn't even thinking about Bard coming and catching you, but as for this being the reason why the mistake, but I was just gonna say it's inefficient because you're not getting
No,
the
he's
red on
gonna take
spawn.
red. Yeah.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't take red, I think if you have to base and walk back, they're getting mid wave and they're walking and they're taking
So
it.
I
So, like,
can't even take red. Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he has to take it or it's gone. Like if you look at the way they play the
Maybe
mid
I was
wave.
just desperate to get something because I'm like, okay, we lost Baron. Like I want to get something back, and then it just
Yeah.
ends up. Oh no, this is some entertainment actually. I think.
Just cue the clown music.
Yeah. You can skip through it if you want. It's.
No, I
Alright,
need
alright.
to see it now.
I'm taking him on a chase.
Goodness. Alright, well, it looks like you can probably get out. Maybe.
No, he's still coming.
Well, Bard is pretty fast with ports. If it was just Shen, you're out, but maybe Bard catches. Maybe they collapse. They're not collapsing. You're actually out, I think. Nice.
And then you can see where Bard appears in a bit. It's kind of funny.
Does he poke his head out as you
Yeah,
finish
he
your
just pokes out somewhere.
recon?
I think I was too scared to recon them. Yeah, he's running
Yeah.
top. He portaled
Goodness.
through the wall. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's good to live and all, but I think during that time you could have gotten red buff.
Yeah, no, that was a
and maybe
horrible
already
decision.
and maybe already farmed your IE. But I guess you didn't lose sums and lived, so you made the best of it. Good pathing on that wild goose chase. Selling D-Blade for IE at this point, I guess. I mean, you probably shouldn't have had to, but now you might as well. Unless you have time to eat
I'm
this
pretty
mid-wave.
sure I'm just typing to him to give me the waves because
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, maybe we can turn something around since I have 3 item.
Yeah, that's pretty huge to have 3 of them. Winnable. Okay, let's skip ahead a little bit to see how this.
Yeah, I'm pretty
So
sure
it's
just one
looking-
fight we lose and then we just lose.
Yeah, because when I see how long the VOD is, I'm like, okay, this is one fight.
Yeah.
Last fight.
And the thing is, like in general, the reason I wanted to review this game is because I felt like I was strong, but I was never in a position to actually do anything in the fight despite being fed. And I just wanted to see if it was because of comp or the way I was playing out the situations.
I'm pretty sure I don't think it had much to do with how you're playing out the situations. I mean, a little bit. I think it was partially like the flash thing I already mentioned, but more so like your map movements in the mid game. I think when you're taking these fights where it's like if like that fight around Dragon,
Yeah.
Obviously you misexecute it, you could probably like 45 like get like 3 or 4 kills. But if you're not confident in the fight, like conditions, like because you're kind of super playing there, like you're outplaying the fuck out of them, and that probably shouldn't happen for you to be able to kill them there. So like it's good to try to go for those kind of plays if you feel like you see the angle, but otherwise you just need to make the game go at your pace, because like when you're taking the fights around those Dragon, that game is exactly where the enemy team wants the game to be. Like they got the pick, they're fighting on their item spikes, they have numbers advantage, they have winning conditions as far as like Jinx no flash. Like you're fighting into their win condition. Whereas if you say, okay, you can have the Dragon, this Dragon is neither of our win condition, but fighting is a win condition. So you can have the win Dragon because that's not your win condition. You only had one other Dragon at the time. But I'm going to play to my win condition and hit my next item spike. And well, actually, you were already on item spike, so it's not really about items. But like, wait for your flash, wait for your Shaco to respawn, and in the meanwhile, I'm gonna take away your economy, bolster my economy. I'm gonna have red buff, and I'm gonna be good to go with my flash red buff, and we're gonna fight on even footing. Like, and as a result, like the fights will be better. Like it'll be easier to not mess up the fights because the fights will be on your terms. Like it's easy to mess up the fights when you're put in shitty situations because there's more ways to make mistakes. So sometimes like in these fights, like you're actually playing them pretty well, but you're put in a hard spot to begin with because the fights aren't in accordance with anything that benefits you.
Yeah. I can agree with that. Oh, I think I super griefed this too.
Your damage? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like aside from getting, obviously that was bad to die there. I don't think I need to tell you that, but I feel like your damage output was really low this fight leading up to that point. So I want to see if you can do anything about that.
Okay.
So I feel like in this window right here, I mean you kind of have to back up because they have the Bard Rumble, so they can engage you from 1k range. So this is totally fine. Up right here, it's all good. I would maybe be stacking minigun on like these minions because you're like literally hitting them in melee range, and it's good to have. You want to have 3 stacks of minigun ready to go, ideally when you're starting the fight, because it's like
Yep.
even for your first auto. And,
I think I was trying to do it later, but it's kind of like 1 or 2 autos kind of late.
Yeah, no, it's okay because obviously
Yeah,
you don't want to
no, I
be in the
agree
creep.
with
If,
I think I was just
Um,
scared of the range, and then I started walking closer without even realizing it.
yeah, that will not change the outcome of this fight. I can guarantee you. It's just a
Okay,
very
yeah,
small
yeah.
thing.
No, I mean it's still important. I think it's still
Yeah,
important.
yeah, it's a good habit. It's just like right. This is where okay. So now I see you hitting the
Yeah, yeah.
minigun
Now
right here.
I'm doing it, but it's yeah.
But this was your time to be moving up right
Yeah.
here. Like you could be right here already right now. And then what happens? Okay, then you walk this way and then you path around the inhib. So right now, realistically, I think you should be able to be like right here.
Yeah,
Like,
and then I can
already.
auto
Your movement-
once or twice already.
Yeah, like you're either walking this way to rocket this guy, or you're already hitting these two. So like your auto. That's like 3 autos you missed already. That's a good rocket though. Don't get me wrong, but that's like straight up 3 autos. Okay, that was another auto that you missed right there. You just did an auto attack. You put the traps down, and the traps have no cast time. So like you just straight up missed an auto attack. And
Mhm.
Bard lives with 1 HP. Like you missed the reset right there. Did you realize that?
Yeah, because yeah, I see that.
Okay, so like the fact that you miss a reset right here is game changing. I'm pretty sure because like maybe you can even chase if you get the reset. So like right here, I still like that you went for the carries with this alt when chunked. That was still really good. Don't get me wrong. Right there, they just straight up like missed an auto attack. Traps were kind of lackluster. You hit one, but like I would not. If you need to not throw the traps to like move right and to like get the proper target focus down, then don't worry about the traps because they didn't achieve anything.
Yeah, and then here I didn't even see. I should have didn't see the trap. I
Yeah.
think the problem is like in these fights, like I am relying a lot on like instinctual play and not like smart play. I don't know. I don't really know how to fix that though.
Yeah, I think just like actively thinking, like asking yourself questions. Like the biggest thing that I do when I've realized that I'm autopiloting, like because to some extent you want to play instinctually. Like your instincts and your subconscious mind are oftentimes even more powerful than your conscious mind. So I think that it's like it's good to play instinctually, but some of these things like critically thinking your matchup or your conditions, you need to ask yourself questions throughout the game. Like when is fighting good for me? When is fighting good for the enemy? How are the interactions between our champions? Like these are things that by prompting yourself with different questions, like at the end of the day, it all comes down to like what are the conditions that need to be met for this game to be won and for myself to succeed, and then like reverse engineering based on like what champions in the game and adapting to whatever conditions are present. It's just it's very much through repetition and pattern recognition. It's not like there's any like fix, but you can accelerate the process by being deliberate about it and by really critically thinking through situations. So I think it's a lot depends on the person too. Like each different people learn different ways and have different personalities. Like I know different people like to approach solo queue in different manners depending on their preferences. So I don't know what would be ideal for you, to be honest. But I think that a lot of things that I mentioned will assist.
Well, I can kind of explain what I did because I was kind of a hard suck diamond like last year, and I took it more seriously. And for like 20 solo queue games in a row, like so like for example, for the next 5 games, I said, okay, I'm gonna do jungle tracking, and after every game, I do a VOD review of the first 15 minutes and see all my deaths and if I jungle tracked effectively. And then I did that for like 20 games where I set an objective and tried to do it for 5 games, and I think that helped a lot. But like at this point, like the one thing is it's very hard to force yourself to do that VOD review, and the second thing is like I don't feel like it's like beneficial for me to do anymore because I don't feel like I'm changing anything, despite like doing the VOD review.
Yeah.
And so I don't really know how to train, I guess, and that's kind of why I wanted coaching.
Well, some of the things is like it's sometimes the results are very much so delayed gratification. You could do a VOD review for a week and be stuck in the same rank, but then next month, like one of the concepts that you learn wins you a play that wins you a game, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not always going to be
everything.
Yeah, like you can't always quantify the improvements. And there may be a series of games where you actually learned a lot and you had really productive VOD reviews, but you lost 100 LP and you're like
Yeah, and
at one
I totally understand
I
that,
suck
and I'm not
a
like
lot.
upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely think it's like a journey that you just kind of have to go through with yourself. It's like, and I think one of the things that can help is just like the journey that I have had undergone. I kind of hit a plateau in League, and then what helped me is starting to learn how to be good at other things in like just life or skills or whatever it is,
Mhm.
and then just becoming like a kind of leveling. Because I was realizing that like it kind of goes back to what I was mentioning at the start of the call, where I was saying like some of these external things outside of the game can actually like really level you up. But I was realizing like, oh, some of the things that were affecting my gameplay were like health related. Like I was like not sleeping well or eating well, or
Yeah,
just
sleeping
like
well is an interesting one because I did notice that every day that I slept like 4 hours, I performed really poorly. But now that I'm sleeping like 8 hours, I wake up and I play 3 games, and those are my best 3 games of the day. I don't really know how that works, but whenever I feel like when I wake up from good sleep, like those are my best games first, like the first three
yeah,
games.
totally. When I started treating it like more like a sport rather than like I
Yeah,
when I first started playing games, I treated it like I was like a middle school kid playing Super Smash Bros with my friends, just fucking around, right? And I just naturally was good. But then when I started to like wanting to compete, I was like, okay, this isn't me like just playing COD anymore. This is me like trying to play like a sport. So I need to like approach things more like an athlete would, where it's like
okay,
I'm caring. And another thing is like it's not related to gameplay, but like stretching and like keeping like physically well-being. Your well-being like it
hmm,
translates so much. Like I'll have games where if I'm not like 100 feeling good IRL, it'll like some for some reason I'll be like tilted. Or like this is a big problem for me when I was in school. Is like I had a backlog of stuff that I was procrastinating. I would queue up and I'd have like some subconscious tilt because I had other things that I had to do that I wasn't doing. And so
yeah, I totally get that. Yeah,
like I said, it's like one of those things that like it's not matter. It doesn't matter for like a diamond player that's trying to get to like from low diamond to high diamond, but when you're trying to push the upper echelons and you're playing, cause you're at the elo where you're playing against people that are doing that kind of shit. You know, like you're playing against people, you're playing against LCS players in your solo queue games, and they are treating it like a job. And as a result, their natural level is going to be way higher if you're
yeah,
just like super. Like I mean, I'm not saying you have to make it your life at all. It's like it doesn't have to be. It still be like a hobby, but you wanna if you want to apply yourself and really climb, like you don't want to be at a disadvantage because you're not taking care of something. Um,
well,
but
yeah, I mean, yeah, my goal first was to get challenger, and then from then, like, I don't know if like, I don't really know how I feel about going pro. Like, I'm not super against it, but I want like, if I can't even get challenger, then there's really no point.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about whatever your goals are. Like
Yeah,
it's everybody has their own journey in life. Like there's so much you could do for it. Like I didn't expect I'd be here where I am today a couple of years ago. It's just like
yeah,
kind of gotta make the best of it. But but yeah, do you want to let's get into this
yeah. We can
game?
do the next game.
Yeah.
And if you feel like it's taking too long, we can speed it up a little bit and skip over some of
No,
the
no, we're
points.
chilling. I don't. I like to take my time, especially with the high rank players, because I feel like you're gonna learn from it. Like you have a base level of competence to where like you're gonna absorb the things that I tell you.
Yeah,
Like I'm not to be rude, but like if I'm teaching like a silver player, like I
I mean,
have to
I
teach
literally I do
people.
coaching on pro guys, right? And like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm coaching people, and I feel like they just don't retain any of the
So
information. So,
you
yeah,
know.
no,
So
I
it's
do.
like there's some sessions where it's like, okay, we're gonna hard cap this one in an hour because we've crossed the line of like diminishing returns on what your intake, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, no, I do know what that whole thing's like.
yeah, but with these, it's like, well, first off, we're recording the session, so if there's anything that like you didn't get the first time, you can just reference it in hindsight. Because sometimes I go into random tangents that aren't really relevant, but if you want to like learn from them as anecdotes, like the VOD can be good for that.
Yeah,
So, and as a result, I don't like to hard cap people's time when I'm talking about random shit that's not really relevant to their gameplay. Because I'm choosing to do that. Like I want to do that to help people, but it's not what they signed up for entirely. Even though it kind of is. You know what I mean?
yeah. I don't even know what I signed up for, to be honest. Like, at the worst, I was thinking we can just like talk about league and stuff, even if I don't really learn anything too crazy.
Yeah, I'm very much like a go with the flow. Like I don't have a structure. I'm not taking like
Yeah,
rigorous notes on timestamps and saying, "Oh, you needed to word exactly here at this time." I try to stick with concepts that are like broadly applicable, and to just to like create like a higher like baseline.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like that,
Agree with that.
that's what's yielded the most results. Because I mean, I'm selfish to some extent too, where it's like I'm coaching and I want my students to actually get results because that gives good feedback. So if I teach them these nitty gritties, they're not actually going to improve anything because they're not getting any better. Like those little things don't always matter to the same extent. But if
Yeah.
I actually have tangible results for my students, then that's when they come back or they give me vouchers and stuff too. So by teaching those broadly applicable things, that like has the most weight, feels like.
Yeah.
But that's where for like high elo players, then I kind of go to the nitty gritty because I feel like, well, let me replay this VOD because I wasn't paying any attention. I was.
I mean,
doing
nothing too much happened up until that moment. Nothing really happened.
I quite literally was not even looking at it though, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but just because I was sometimes when I rant, I get into my own headspace. I can be a little ADHD sometimes.
No. Okay.
But yeah, that's. I feel like high ranked players they unlock like the hidden character in my coaching where they get the extra stuff. Or
Yeah.
The DLC, the pack of being high rated. You get yeah.
Do you just advertise your coaching on your stream?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
I actually get a lot of people that ask me surprisingly from that. I haven't done it on any websites because I don't want them to take a cut, and I get more requests than I even want to do, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, no, I feel like if anything, your price isn't even that high. Like, I think it's a very reasonable price considering like all the other sites and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's nobody taking a cut because it goes straight to me. So
yeah,
true.
true.
A lot of times you have to like mark it up like 20% because you're getting.
That's literally what I have to do on Pro Guides, which is like, I mean, I wouldn't get customers otherwise, so like it's still a good deal for me.
Yeah, no, but I'm at a point in my like career where I don't want to do too many coaching because it's not like doesn't do much for me. Like
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that you even do it in the first place, but yeah.
Well, a big reason why I do it is because I can clip these for content, so it's really good for my YouTube because I'm kind of a YouTube noob, but people love the educational content on YouTube. So I take this and then I take the money that I'm given for the session and I give it to my editor to make a video out of it. So I help people and I get videos in return.
Oh wait, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, so this is. I feel like you overpushed this wave a little bit. So in this matchup, let me see it from the get-go again. So you're on wave at the start. Your jungler is starting Wraith. Because when I see this matchup, you're playing literal Morgana versus Blitzcrank. I feel like there's no world where you should be hard crashing on wave 1. That just feels illegal. So
okay, yeah, maybe the rockets on the backline are a little unnecessary.
This is it. So they're getting away with just absolute highway robbery by playing this matchup and getting every single minion level 1. Like, I guess it is kind of dangerous because like they actually can win a trade if you get like hooked into Samira like E. But what you can't. Okay, so I know it's not gonna be perfect because you can't coordinate with your support. Like if you're playing with like Core GJ or something, like you can do this because.
I mean, this is Nubi. This is Nubi. To be fair, so he is a pro player.
Okay, yeah, but that's not Core GJ. There's
yeah,
a big
true.
I don't even think Nubi will be on Golden Guardians next split.
He might not be.
They're I know for a fact they're trying out supports because I scrimmed against them with supports. So that's some behind the scenes info that they're trying out supports. So
that's pretty funny.
But
basically, they do better.
Yeah. So basically, even it's okay to start thinning the wave a little bit. And typically, I tend to hit the casters first. When I'm thinning the wave, and the reason for that is I'm sure you could probably think about it, but like they do more damage and they're squishier.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing, but I kind of overdid it. I think even just one auto on it is like more than enough.
Yeah, and also when you kill the melees, then it causes your wave to step up a little bit. So, but yeah, this is just such an over push. It's ridiculous. You haven't autoed them all but one time.
Yeah, we kind of both over pushed it, to be honest. Like we were both autoing too much.
I mean, this is actually a really good trade, though. The fact that
Blitzcrank is trolling.
This is the saving grace that he just corners himself and eats this chunk because this wouldn't have happened if you didn't hard push, and it actually makes it worth it. But I don't know if this is replicatable.
No, it's such a bad fundamental idea. Yeah. And this is definitely something you can apply to every game. And you see, like, I got his mana shield right there too, so it's like even doubly like good.
That last auto, I think you were hookable. That was scary. Up into this point, we're all really good. This auto makes me shit my pants a little bit. Right there, I feel so he walks away right here. What's stopping him from throwing a hook up? Is it on cooldown?
I thought it was still on cooldown. I mean, how long has it been? I figured it's only been like 10 seconds.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
it's like a 20-second cooldown.
Was it on cooldown? I actually didn't see when he threw out the hook, so maybe. Cause
Wait,
I'm
can you check the
pausing and I'm
time?
not,
I can search up the cooldown real quick.
yeah, I was pausing, so I kind of like my frame of reference of time was off. But yeah, let me see. I'm a dumbass if he used hook. I wasn't paying
I
attention.
believe he did.
Okay, so there it was.
20
That's
seconds.
why
20 seconds.
right there. I'll be
Yeah.
honest. So like I'm watching it 360p on my second monitor. I didn't even see that he hooked right there. So
No, honestly, I know the quality's kind of bad right now.
okay,
Yeah.
so like this all makes sense.
Yeah.
I was under a false assumption that he hadn't used hook this entire time.
Okay.
So this all makes sense. Okay, so
Yeah, no,
you can
I see where you're
understand
coming
why I
from.
said that.
Yeah, I see where you're
Imagine-
coming from. Imagine you had hook right there, like I could just throw in the entire lane.
Okay. No, that was really good auto. It was really good auto. I was just all operating under false information.
Yep.
But okay, so even right now, I feel like hitting the minions as much as you are, it's good to. You always want to push just enough in these early levels to where you're securing the push and never more. Typically, like that. My rule of thumb, like this is my flow chart for how I play the waves in early game, is I push as little as I can to guarantee the push unless I need to crash my wave.
I think I just wanted to crash this wave. Like, it already got screwed up level 1, and then I was like, okay, let me just crash this wave, and then it'll come back, and we can do whatever with it.
Yeah.
But the first wave, like, I completely agree with that, though.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm saying that to keep doing that is because you're at a game timer where you're still not gankable, right? Like, unless you're getting one level 2 ganked, you're not gankable right now.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So what's happening is, what you can do is you can thin the minions a little bit, just so that way you have the push. But then every single time Samir's trying to CS, like you force either a Q or she takes an auto attack, and then a lot of times what'll happen is you'll get like random like 1 CS leads or 2 CS leads like each wave by doing this. And when you're posturing in the neutral, like this is really good. He walked up here, but like you could have done the same thing with your minions a little bit healthier. Like imagine doing the same thing because like you can.
So I can deny the front 2 basically if I just stop autoing a little bit earlier.
Yeah, because I know you need level 2 to get this level of pressure. I'm not diminishing that, but when the minions are like kind of low and they know that you're gonna get 2 first, they have to back off to the same extent with the threat of your 2 because you can like hit the minions at any time.
Yeah.
As long as you're not getting like hooked or whatever. But like, it just feels like this whole first levels, aside from Blitz randomly eating a bind, you guys have not gotten a single like maybe you got like 2, I think total of 2 auto attacks that were not a part of that like bind play.
Yeah.
Higher like first levels when you have the most like not only is it Morg versus Blitzcrank, but you outraged Samira by a significant margin too. And now look at where your wave is right here. And this is about to turn to the timer where you're starting to get gankable. So you have no ward down. Your wave state's really awkward. They're at full HP and mana. Like this is just like you are not getting the expected value of your matchup right now. Based on. Okay, so at this point, I'm thinking, oh fuck, I need to crash this wave ASAP and hope that I'm not getting ganked on this timing, and I'm gonna go get a deep ward. Or maybe not even a deep ward, maybe just a tri ward. But or a crab ward could be good too if you think that. But you're generally just probably clearing to your crab side, so you want to try. But I'm thinking like, okay, I'm rocketing this cannon and these casters. I'm getting Morani to stack on this, and we are just crashing this wave in because this is the 240 timer where. To be fair, I wasn't paying attention to. I don't even know what enemy jungle champion is because I literally haven't seen it yet. Okay, it's Kindred. So actually with Kindred pathing, the most likely way you would be getting ganked is if she did red, blue, Gromp, wolves back to bot side. That's a very common Kindred route. So that is actually around this timing, ironically. But right now,
yeah, and then assassins.
I know a thing or two. Like So like I didn't know that any of this was gonna happen, but I knew it was gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then we have to burn literally everything to get out on one issue.
Yes. Okay. So I pretty much predicted this entire sequence without like just.
But I was so surprised that she did this though, like that she was gonna do this.
Okay, but I literally just paused and like read the route and called the timer, and then it happened. Like so these are clearly things that you can know. If you take a second
definitely.
To, like think them through. Like,
okay.
So. That just goes to show, like, and that's also a champion-specific thing. Like, Kindred's best. That's just I don't know if you play much off-roller or something, but like I play a bit of Kindred, so I know that that's Kindred's best route as far as clear pacing. Like these are just little things that like maybe in other AD carries that's not common knowledge have, but like just by leveling up your overall game knowledge of the whole game state, like it can
I don't know Kindred, but I do play like a lot of jungle off-road. Like I have a different account I play, and I am a Masters jungler on that account, but I don't play Kindred, so I don't really know that.
But you probably do realize that like single target camp champions like that.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of
I mean, she normally I just think of her as like a 3 camp clear, look for something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but typically the best way to transition out of a 3 camp is because 3 camping the top is so awkward.
Yeah,
It's, like,
yeah.
sort of- so you usually what you do is you do the 3 camp and then you just clear back down and then you do wolves and then you walk into bot side with your chickens and your golems are still up and your whole top side is down, so you're on the map side with your camps and you're strong to fight level 3. So that's just this is something that I'd be thinking about
Okay.
like pretty much camp select. Like I was only really mentioning your 2v2 matchup before, but now that this is like exceptionally relevant to talk about, like there's no way that Zach's ever going to be able to match this too, right? So like
Yeah,
all these
no.
things about your fucked wave state and like not having the ward timer either. Like I don't think there's any ward timer that you could have with the way that the waves were played. But so now you're down sums and just kind of tanking a lot of damage. But yeah, okay. So that's does it hold?
I think I just like not really, but it's kind of like
I mean,
safe. I guess the last
Fine.
hit this
Yeah,
way.
no, that's actually fine because the wave is crashing on your side. And at this point, I think, how would I approach this? So this is a really shitty spot to be in. But
I'd say
think it's
my
fine.
decision before you say anything would be slow push it as slow as possible until
Yes.
next wave.
I like that. So I'm thinking you want to crash a wave that's big enough to where they can't hold it without you being able to fight its way in.
Yeah.
Because right now what's going to happen is if you hard push this wave, you'll kill it, but you're going to get held on. You're going to walk back to wave with no sums. And it's going to be really awkward.
Yeah.
So I think you're spot on with trying to get a wave crash, especially if it syncs up with your jungler walking back to his bot camps. He's probably going to greed walking to chickens because that's, even though he probably, because like he might want to try to go for top crab, but this might be a situation where like if I'm in comms with my jungler, actually, dude, I don't know. He's a level 3 Zac that already died once, so he might be pretty
I mean,
fucked.
yeah.
Because like this is a situation. Okay, so maybe if your jungler, maybe it's not replicatable in this situation, but in general, I'm calling for my jungler to like hover me while I'm trying to slow crash a wave on this kind of situation. Like maybe it's not possible because of Zac getting fucked, but like as a fundamental concept, I would be pinging like on this next wave, for instance, I'd be saying like, "Yo, can you hover me on this wave like right now?" Because he needs to know right away. Like it's probably not replicable because it's
Yeah, no, I could definitely do this in like comp, like if I play like collegiate or something, but I can't really do this in solo
even in solo
Really?
queue, I would. Yeah, I would. I mean,
Do people
not
generally
in
because like he seems so screwed right now? Like what he has to clear his jungle.
no. I'm saying like I'm not saying. I said if variable. I'm just
Oh
teaching
yeah,
comp.
yeah. Generally speaking, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Gotcha.
I'm not saying. Yeah, that's why I said if it's not applicable to this
Okay,
situation.
okay.
Yeah, no, because that's why I started talking so long about like he's level 3 and he's fucked and like all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, that's
'cause
true.
he's not gonna be able to do anything. But that doesn't. I still like to teach things that are like I get inspired by seeing things that can be concepts that are applicable to other situations.
Yeah.
So right here, I'd be like hard hitting the wave with minigun is good. Good. Okay, you're definitely slowing the push a little bit to make sure you get the last hits.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah. I
alright.
don't know if that's ideal.
Yeah, I think that it's really awkward because time is of the utmost importance with getting this wave crash.
Because if the
And I
other
think-
wave comes in time, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but still got it. So okay, whew. That was a close call though. That was a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
close call.
I see what you're saying. Like sometimes it's better just push. Who cares about the
And
last
I
hit?
feel like they could have fought you guys for this hold a little bit too, because you guys don't have any information. Like they could bluff right here that they have jungle, and it would be a non-committal bluff. Like let's just press his W and runs at you, and you guys have to fuck off, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you hold the wave, and if jungle's there and you fight, you're dead. If jungle isn't there and you fight, he gets chunked, but the wave's held, or you get the wave in. Like it's net winning for him to bluff right now, I think. So, just because I feel like they're giving you guys a lot of respect. They're showing that jungle is not here. They're letting
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I guess in a different situation, it's very easy to punish what we did.
Hmm.
And that is the word I normally like to do. Like as I'm leaving, I just drop a word there and then recall.
I like that a lot because it's really good for not getting lane ganked.
Yeah.
No flash. And of course, is a TP word.
And I actually think it was pretty smart of Mark to just stick around and make sure I don't get stopped.
Yeah, and he can like force them to walk in the wave here. This is very well, it's LCS support, so he's doing what is done in scrims regularly.
Yeah. Also kind of unrelated, but I played with Shady recently, and oh my god, bro, I swear that guy's actually crazy. I don't know,
Yeah.
that's such a high opinion.
For like a year and a half, I think. So I know him very well.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just kind of, I don't really know, I'm like not used to playing with better supports. Like I haven't really been playing in high elo for that long.
Yeah, no, it takes time because like you will a lot of the concepts that are like what basically happens is one LCS player does something and it gets good results and then everybody copies them. So there becomes like a lot of concepts that are really well known in like the LCS level community,
Yeah.
but aren't known by like nobody makes concept videos on them to like teach
Yeah.
how it goes. And to be honest, I don't even know them all because I haven't like ever played an LCS, right? Like I've gotten to interface with a lot of players of that caliber, but
Yeah, we can
I
rewatch
don't
that situation.
I don't know all the inside scoop. But I it's one of those things where I start to realize I learned enough to know how much I don't know, right? Like
Yeah.
I realized I saw a handful of things and I'm like, oh shit, like these are all things that I never even knew existed, but this is like common knowledge. So
I'm not even
and
sure how he hooks me right here.
the thing is it evolves so much too, is because the game. Oh yeah, okay, your positioning is just awkward. Like
Yeah. I don't know what I'm
you
doing.
you're just giving him the angle.
Yeah.
It's just
In hindsight, I definitely see that. In the moment, I was like, wait, what?
mm-hmm. Yep.
And
I
it
mean,
kind of just kills both of us. Or actually just kills me, but should have killed him too.
yeah, maybe there's a world where you can trade kills on Samira, but I think that's just a mistake. From
No,
getting
it's
hooked.
still a mistake.
Yeah, it's just shit happens. Like happens to the best of us. It's no sweat. There's not much to learn from that other than just don't get hit
Just
forehead.
stand in the wave. Like I know to do that, but I guess I just didn't do it in that specific scenario.
Yep, it happens. It's all good. So we're just gonna have to do our best to stabilize, because
Yeah, and this is the game where I'd say I have like one of my bad early games, so to speak.
yeah, like I recall from the titles, so kind of had a general idea of what the theme was.
Mhm.
But yeah, honestly, you're in an all right spot though. I feel like it's gonna be difficult for you to like actually contest the 2v2, but you guys have incredible gank setup if they're overextended on any interval, and like I say that you comfortably outscale.
Yeah.
Samira in team fights is pretty hard against some of your champions like Kiana, Fiora. But we'll see. This is really good to play the wave like this. I want to just be slow stacking.
I figured the wave was big enough, but
Yeah, I think so. I think this is fine. Play to dive here.
yeah, I don't even think we can dive after. G
If you're not playing to dive here, you need to slow this wave down then. Like, you need to actually. So what's
I
happening
think
here?
I did want to dive. I didn't ping it. I did want to dive, and then Morgana and Listovine and I was like, whatever.
Yeah, okay. So like this has to be a dive, or you can't crash the wave. I feel like.
Okay.
So, and the reason for that is because right now, if you crash this wave and it's not a dive, she just basically catches everything. But if you wait for next wave, it's still before Blitz's timer, based on like how this play goes, right? Granted, to be fair, hindsight is 2020. Like you don't have the full information up until like after you already start hitting the wave.
Yeah,
It's
I
kinda-
think. Let me see exactly when I get the information.
Yeah, well, he showed right.
Right. So right as soon as Fiora dies is when I noticed it. I didn't see the map right away. So right now I'm pretty focused on just last setting. I'm glancing at the map.
He showed right now. He showed just.
He just showed it, but that was like such a brief flash. I don't even think I even saw.
Yeah. So it's understandable. So okay, let's not get too nitpicky on it, and we'll just try to make the best out of the way.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, look, cause like yeah, like I know around as the second Fiora dies, I see Blitz is there, and then I'm ready for the play.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to be too nitpicky. I want to be practical, of course. So it's like it's not always going to be perfect, but you got to make the best of the situation you got. So let's see what we got here. Get some damage.
It's like maybe next wave if I shove it quick and try to get a couple hits on him. I don't know. Let's do something.
Yeah, it's good that we're getting these couple hits. The fact that Morg wasted binding has made it really awkward for you because she could just walk at him and he can't do anything if he's holding bind. He has to commit W. It's good we're hitting the plates here. It's all good. I honestly I would have ignored hitting him here to just full minigun the plates. And the reason being is any damage you get on like at this point the dive is just scrap.
Yeah.
Like they're
Okay.
gonna
Yeah.
the health doesn't matter. At this point I'm like, okay, we're not playing for this guy.
I think it's just like sunk costs where I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, like I really want to make this happen, but we can't. So I'm just gonna out of rage just hit him a couple times.
Yeah, you want to show your top laner like, hey bro, I'm trying to pressure this guy.
Yeah. I swear I'm trying.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, even if you didn't take the tower shot, I would still be hitting the turret because I just want to guarantee the plate. It looks like you get it anyways.
You do, but we do, but like it's still like if
You just
there's a
gotta
world
hit.
where we couldn't get the plate, then it's just awkward.
Yeah, I feel like they probably didn't path straight to lane. Maybe they did. I feel like.
I feel like
Either way.
I think this moment I felt like I had time to shove this wave. Maybe I
Yeah. No, yeah, you're fine with the wave. I'm just saying, like, being on plate for too long. Like, in general, you want to get the plate and get out, right? Like, you don't want to, because I'm still talking about this last play where it's like,
right.
you got some extra damage on her, but will it stick? And then also, like, even though you still get the plate, like, these extra 5 seconds could have opened you up to a window where you're exposed.
Yeah.
I wasn't
No,
paying
you're right.
attention to the jungle support tempo, but there's a world where if you fuck around for a couple extra seconds, Kindred and Blitz are just running behind you through try.
I totally see that.
So at least got it in the end, so it's no biggie. Probably just planning to crash wave here and maybe buy a Noon Quiver or something, or boots.
I think that's the idea.
Or
Yeah.
We'll see. Or even going up river for Pink Ward and Crab.
I probably
No,
just
they-
recall the new quiver seems kind of juicy.
Yeah, they just hit this plant too, and your jungle's on red, so you're like hard weak side right now. So this is a good time to base, or even run to Gromp. I would even consider running to Gromp and soloing Gromp right. I actually think I might stay for Gromp right here,
Okay.
just because. The reason being is, never mind. You
But
were
then the
running,
wave though.
So I never run magical footwear. That's why. Okay, so that's why my
Oh,
arena.
okay. Also, I don't really know. I know that most ADCs I've seen don't run footwear and they rush boots on like every
I run
ADC.
Cosmic. Well, the reason why I don't run footwear is because Cosmic Insight is like my favorite rune in the entire game.
Can you like what exactly does it do? I know it's summoner spell haste, right?
Yeah. So the main thing is
Okay.
it reduces an item haste, but the item haste doesn't matter much because it's only like 7 seconds.
Is that better
off
than
scale.
footwear though?
So the reason why it's debatable because you can't necessarily quantify when Cosmic Insight is good. Like,
I mean, you can
so-
just give me your opinion and then I'll.
Yeah. So let me break it down a little bit. So the boots, you're getting like a flat. You're getting a little bit extra move speed from the magical footwear, and you're getting the economy of like the free boots. Downside is you can't get your boots early, and one thing that I love to do is if I do not have flash in the early game and I feel vulnerable, then I have higher prio on boots because move speed becomes so OP, like because I can dodge spells and I'm not gankable or whatever. Like there's a lot of times in the early game where even if it's not boots 2, just buying the 300 gold boots 1 in the early game when I'm down my flash, it's so huge for even not just for like getting ganked or not having flash, but even if I do have flash, having the move speed advantage can change so many matchups. Like
Yeah.
when you have 2 champions that have similar ranges and one has the move speed advantage, they get to dictate like almost every single trade.
Yeah,
Aside
I feel
from-
like boots. No, like I can definitely agree that boots give you like a ton of just overall, like, I don't know, like it just has so much value in it. But I figured that like nothing else in the inspiration tree was worth taking over boots.
Now let me sell you why I
Okay,
like
yeah,
Cosmic.
sell it to me.
Okay, so first off, it's taking 45 seconds off your flash, and
Yeah.
it's like 30 some off heal. It doesn't make a big difference. But the thing is in high elo, everybody times your flash at like 5 minutes flat. They fuck up every single time, and they literally cannot mentally comprehend that you have a rune that reduces your flash cooldown.
Okay, no, like I totally understand that
swear-
though because I do the same thing.
I swear it's like part of the Cosmic Insight rune is like a hidden OP of like human error. It's actually like it's really fucking real effect where like you're in a pro game and they're under pressure and now I mean if you're okay maybe it's not so much like when you're playing LCS because like when I play like Big for instance on Notework, he times every flash based on lucidity boost and Cosmic Insight like perfectly. Like,
He must
can
have
do it.
he has like a whole flow chart ready probably. Yeah.
But he is like an LCS caliber support, you know, like that. And I can guarantee you that there's other LCS caliber supports that don't. Like he's probably like a minority there. So like I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm just giving you the inside scoop that the majority, because like you said, you fuck it up, I fuck it
No,
up.
I
Like,
definitely do. I just
I
add
can't
5
do-
minutes.
Yeah, like I can do one cosmic or one magical footwear, but if they or lucidity boots, but if they have both, I'm like, dude, that's like it's like 3 minutes and some change. I'm like, fuck it, like I just do like 3:30, like, and it's not exact. Like I have to ask. So
Yeah.
um, so then also like it's like actually like when you're this is another small thing, but like if you're playing a Gale Force matchup, having the a lot of times there's times in the matchup where you Gale Force each other at the exact same time, and if you have Cosmic Insight, you have first Gale Force, and it
Not with
actually wins
Jinx,
you
but with
fighting.
like Kaisa and stuff. Like I feel like that happens pretty often when they Gale Force, I Gale Force, or I Gale Force, they Gale Force. Yeah. So you're saying that
Fire
it's up like
matchup.
15 seconds or some 10 seconds earlier or something.
It's like 7 seconds, but that's
Okay.
still a difference
Yeah.
maker.
No, that's a big window, I would say.
Because there
Still.
was a period of time where like the meta was like Kai'Sa Xayah with both rushing Gale Force, right? And
Yeah.
like that was really huge then because you just
Okay.
take the 1v1 instantly. And I mean that's just a small detail, like that's not a big deal, but like it exists. Like
Nah, but no, like that literally happens to me like every other game I'm playing Kaisa, so I feel like it's not actually that crazy.
and then cleanse is also a big one too because a lot of times, so heal is like kind of stronger early game IMO typically, and cleanse scales better
Yeah.
typically.
Agree.
Obviously, there's some nuance, but generally, and so when you have like cleanse in mid game with Cosmic Insight, it's like I think it's sub 3 minutes actually, or like close to 3 minute cooldown for cleanse. So at that point, it's like it's pretty incredible because like having 30-second interval that they're first off they're not timing it properly, and second, like if they botch and engage off of like thinking that you didn't have it or not having it, it's literally game winning. And whereas the alternative is having like an extra 10 move speed, and also one thing,
It's mostly
and
with the economy, but yeah.
yeah, I was about to say that, but then I get sidetracked. But one of the things that is super important about, hold on, wait, I lost my train of thought when it's the cosmic. Hold on. Sorry. I was getting a little frantic and I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about for a moment?
Footwear, economy, cosmic.
Okay. Yeah, so there's the cosmic. Shit. Sorry. I drew a blank.
No
Hold on.
worries.
This is really, I felt like it was important though, so let me.
Yeah.
It has something to do with. I'm sorry. I can be a derp sometimes. I am really ADHD. Shit. Okay, maybe if we start talking about something else, it'll pop up
Yeah,
in my
well,
head.
I mean, I guess my thing was just that the 300 gold is like, it's like so guaranteed and it feels so good once you get it. But my only issue is like I really do like having boots in the early.
I remember now. I remember it's item slots. That's what
Oh,
I have issues with fucking item slots and footwear sometimes when I'm playing like champs like Kaisa and I'm trying to build like my Q evolve and I'm trying to get like components and all that kind of shit. Sometimes footwear can get really awkward where you on a base where you can't actually get your footwear, which is one thing to consider. And then, like I mentioned briefly earlier before, the early boot. Like so, when you're talking like the 300 gold economy plus the extra 10 move speed, which is they call that another 100 gold worth of stats. So you're saying 400 gold worth of stats compared to the trade-offs that I mentioned, and I typically prefer like the other trade-offs, but
I mean, I'll give
yeah,
it a try. Yeah, probably gonna play Soul Key
Uh,
after, so we'll see how it feels.
and I don't pick it every game. Like there's a lot of times where I'm on Kaisa and I'm like, I'm probably going crack in this game. Don't really need the cooldown. I would rather have Presence of Mind Bloodline every time.
So okay? Yeah. So
I'm not
I
saying
see
it's a
what you're
hard
saying.
and fast rule. I'm just saying like people underestimate when it is. Like if I'm playing like say I'm playing Cleanse and they have a lot of hard CC. Let's say I'm playing Jinx versus like Leona Morgana or some shit. I am Cleanse with Cosmic Insight 100% of the time because not only do I want the more flashes, more cleanses, but I also want to be able to buy boots, like early game or I'm
Okay,
gonna get ran
I can
down.
totally see that actually. Yeah, that sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're a pretty good salesman. That sounded pretty legit.
Yeah, that was my pitch. So
Okay.
I'm the Cosmic Insight salesman instead of the Leandri salesman, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess so.
But yeah, let's see how this goes. It's like it also goes back to like I'm thinking right now that I would want to buy a Noon Quiver and boots, but like that actually I realize you have footwear. That's where this all
I
started.
can't really.
Because I'd be thinking right now the reason why I'm thinking I'm like if I could do Gromp and I could be back on this bot wave and then I could base buy a Noon Quiver and sell my biscuit for boots. That would be the
Okay,
play I'm probably
yeah.
making right now.
Okay.
So that's where this all started.
I mean, if I
That's
ever
how-
have 300 gold extra like that, what I do is I normally just buy like a dagger or something, which feels pretty bad, but I mean, it's whatever.
yeah, and that's where it gets awkward with your item slots there as well.
Yeah.
'Cause you can't really get away with that because you can't upgrade to boots 2 up until you actually get the boots.
Okay, so I end up having to stay for the wave anyway, so it's like Guess.
Yeah. So that could have been a Gromp window. And then this is just really bad to get hooked, but it looks like he ends. Okay.
Okay, the
I'm not
traps
gonna
may
lie,
have missed.
you played this really terrible. Not the blame. I'm just being honest. Like it happens. I do bitch it all the time too, but I'm gonna call it how I
Yeah,
see it.
this is pretty horrible.
So first off, this ward is kind of redundant. Like I feel like you're not diveable and you have crab. Maybe it is good though. Maybe
Well, I thought I had a
well,
window, and maybe just maybe like
yeah.
it's something could happen. But yeah,
Yeah, it's better than nothing. So actually, I'm not gonna over criticize because I like the thought process. You are making use of downtime, so that is it's actually conceptually it's really good. I don't know if it does anything. So
that's fair.
maybe it does though. Actually, to be honest, when I got on that random tangent, I lost all track of like game flow, of like where jungle was and stuff. So, um, you would have a much
Well, I
better
see where
read on it.
Fiore is. I'm like, yeah, he's definitely bot side if
Yeah,
he's on
yeah,
the map.
yeah. No, I think it's safe to say you would probably have a much better read on it in the game than I would after having like paused and talked about other stuff. I'm
Yep.
not following 100%. And it's that's non-committal too. It's a very of any word to drop. That's probably the best word you can drop. Like the defensive pink there. Maybe if you think that in the future you can push up, you'd want to save the pink and get a defensive yellow. But if you think you're kind of just chilling for the time being, that's a wonderful pink word because that shit is gonna the little buff when words stay there for a while, like that shit's getting it most
Yeah.
likely. But yeah, that was just
Wait,
it's completely unnecessary. Like you're trying to prep the minion. I think
Okay.
you're legit just trying to prep the minion, and you're giving him an angle to prep the minion when like it was unnecessary to do, and you probably could have gotten the same minion by just like walking away and pressing W if you really needed to, or using a rocket, like right here. This down step everything up until this point was totally fine. As soon as you click down, and then not only do you click to the right, but then after right, I'm pretty sure you down click here. This is this click and then this click. This was
Okay,
bad, but
yeah.
it's recoverable. If you go here and then here, you're fine. You're fine. It's not, no big deal.
No,
But as soon
I
as
see
you
what
go
you're
here,
saying.
here, this is just you're running it down like right here.
Okay.
So or it wasn't a movement, but it was this input, and you cannot put your it's already giving him an angle, but you're giving him an angle where you put yourself in an auto attack animation, like
So it's even easier. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, like you're literally just saying like, okay, I'm gonna be stuck here. Like you, maybe there's a 5-head play where you fake the auto attack here and then bait out his hook and then walk away. That could be a legit play. But like actually committing to auto attacking here is just legitimate suicide. Especially because that's not even the minion that got focused. Like even if you walked away, you would have missed this CS because of that auto attack, right? So it's like it doesn't even make sense as far as prep. So I just
No, that was horrible.
and then the trap miss on a rooted target. Like, I don't want. I'm not gonna harp on it too much because I think you could see all these things yourself, and it's just mechanic stuff. But just simply like
Bro, I
these
don't know
mistakes,
what it is. Like, it happens all the time where like I drop a trap on like a real target and I just don't get it right.
Yeah, this is just maybe some kind of like getting frantic in the heat of the moment or something, or like
Yeah, that
I don't
too.
know. There's something that happens, but this is just some kind of like mental block type thing, where or like tilt or just a bad play. Everybody has bad plays.
To be
Like,
fair,
I'm
I
not
think
trying to-
I wasn't like super tilted, but I wasn't happy with how this game was going.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Maybe just like poor focus or like you got a phone call or dude, I don't know, whatever it is, just
Gotcha.
make sure that these things don't happen often if you want to consistently climb because you could have just like legitimately ruined your early to mid game off of this play because you lost double sums, you got chunked, you CS'd inefficiently. Blitz is gonna have perma roams. Like now
Okay.
Morg has to like babysit you pretty much or you can't play the game. So like and then that could snowball into like your mid laner not getting to play the game because Blitz is just humping him now. Like you quite literally could have it's just one little slip up like that, and that's why I hate Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is one of my least favorite champs in the whole game because he's fucking useless until he's useful as fuck. Like he's
Okay,
like literally
yeah.
the most. He's so useless the entire game, but then he hits you one time, and it's just like it's game changing. So I actually like whenever my support blind picks Thresh and comp, I'm like I always beg for Blitz ban on pinch. Like
Thresh is like kind of my perma ban right now.
yeah,
I really hate Thresh.
Thresh is my perma ban too because Thresh is like he can win bot lane no matter how bad the other AD carry is. It feels like
He
he's
can
like
kind of just do everything. I don't know.
he's literally like the Renekton in a bot lane where he's just super strong early. He can like fight you to the death. He's got like it's good CC. He's safe. Like
Yeah.
that's just a whole different thing. But yeah, I just
Happens.
wanted to reiterate like it's up to you to find the solution on how to play that better because that's not like a coach isn't going to be able to fix that one. But
Yeah, for sure.
it just I don't know how this is going to impact the game, but I can't imagine that. Well, I mean, maybe it actually works well. Trap off the. Okay, so you needed to trap this right here, I think.
Okay, can
Like when you see
go
this,
back again? Yeah.
when you see this Morgana R, I'm thinking I want to CC off the CC, like as a fundamental.
Okay.
Like unless you think that you can really like use this time to kill Blitz with your alt angle, which just looked like what you were going for.
Yeah, I think I was
You thought
yeah.
that was gonna. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
I didn't see that the
But
first time.
yeah, I mean, I should be
I
able to do both, but yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, I think you have time to where you can actually wait for it to finish, maybe. But like, I don't know. It just I didn't see that you how close it was to actually going through because to
It
my
kind of reaches
intuition,
further. Yeah, I thought
yeah,
it reached further.
my intuition like felt like he's definitely out. So I
Okay.
didn't consider that until after the fact. Yeah, but that makes sense. Okay, like when I see that perspective, I get it.
No, I should be able to do both, but yeah, that was my thought process.
And then even then, like in that window right there where he was rooted, like he not this one but the next one. Um,
Do they? I
just
wasn't
be
sure
like,
if they went through the shield. I don't know how that works.
oh no, actually, if he has flash, you can't. I was gonna say W him after the W, just like it's a ton of damage and it's like doesn't cost much mana because the presence of mind. But if he has flash, you actually can't do that. I wasn't paying attention, so
Okay.
no, I think this is all good. I take back what I said. I was incorrect.
No, I
This is
actually
all-
do think I could have dropped the traps at some point. Like I could go for Blitzcrank, but at the same time drop the traps. I just didn't even see that as an
Yeah,
option.
yeah.
It's not like I was like, this is better than that. I was like, I literally don't see that,
Mhm.
or I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, I didn't. So just to clarify,
Yeah.
what I was thinking was that it would have been good to W on the root or E on the root, but I'm pretty sure you die for it if you did, if she has flash, which I think she does. So I take it back. But yeah, this is all kind of awkward. Honestly, I would be thinking when I see my Zach going in here, it's this is either he hits or he doesn't, and as soon as this hits, I'm out. I am
Oh, as soon as it misses, you're out.
yeah, I am
Okay.
fucking out. Like
Well, I thought if he
Oh.
hits the Q and then goes to the minion, we still kill him, and then he just misses the Q.
okay, actually maybe the Q is enough to kill. But I saw the Zach E and the Morgbind missed, and I'm like that's two
Okay.
of the biggest
Yeah.
kills.
Yeah.
But maybe the Zach. It's actually impressive that he found a way to miss everything.
Yeah, I think that was more of a him misplay than a me misplay, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I think this is all good.
And then the W is kind of random though.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. It's difficult. It's just a in the situation judgment call. But like, also I think part of this stems from not having sums. Like, imagine how much more aggressive you can play this with sums, and like from full HP. But I think you're still chunked from that play. Like, imagine if the same play is happening at like higher HP, higher mana with sums up, maybe. So I think it might just be a consequence of the play from before.
Yeah.
But yeah. Now you die and you walk back to lane, and it just feels like these early games are slowing down a lot. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like
I mean,
missing.
in terms of my like what I think I'm good at and bad at, generally speaking, I think my early game is my like weakest. Like by early game, I don't mean like early. I mean like 8 minutes to like 15 minutes is like my worst time in the game.
Like late phase kind of.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Still, like that's something I really try to focus on, but I just don't really know.
I feel like just the cadence, the game flow. I mean, to be fair, I've only watched a game and a half so far, so I can't know for sure. But in these games, it feels like you're very much like responding to things that are happening, and you're not pressuring in the windows that you should be to create the game flow in a way that like your opponents have to respect and respond to your plays. Like, you're kind of letting them get away with a lot of shit, and then once you're letting them get away with a lot of shit, then you're like randomly giving them some random shit by like getting picked to where you have to use sums or whatever. So like you're, aside from like a few things happening here and there, like your overall mechanics and your overall like game sense and stuff seem to be pretty good. But just like what my thoughts are when I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, this is really good, really good, really good. And I say that for like 4 or 5 plays, and I'm like, oh, this is just this one play that like if you just kind of needed to trim like the fat on some of these plays where it's like you're doing everything right up into a point, and it's probably just from like a lack of experience or being in the situations or whatever it may be. So I think just like, I think you have a really good baseline, but now you're you're just in a really fucked spot. Like none of this stuff, what you can do from this situation is very minimal. You have to make, obviously you want to make the best of it, but like a lot of this is just going to be repercussions from mistakes you've already made. Like you are currently with your wave frozen on you versus a Blitzcrank with no flash. Like this is not going to be fun. Like you are going to bleed here without a doubt. Like that, it's unavoidable. But you need to try to make the best of it, and you're just paying for previous mistakes at this point.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
To some extent, in these kind of games where you're stuck paying for previous mistakes, you are going to, more often than not, you're probably going to lose unless your team is like serviceable, like in these kind of situations.
That's what. But I mean, generally speaking, I feel like whenever I'm put in this situation, I just lose the game. And if I'm like in the opposite situation, like I'm in the situation with Samira, I just always win.
Mm-hmm.
So like I guess in this game, I'm trying to see like what did I do? Did I do anything to like make that happen, like that to come back from it, and how do I like replicate it?
Well, I think eating like 3 hooks is like
that's definitely bad, but
it's game breaking. Like I don't know if there's I legitimately think it's so game breaking that you can't do anything to fix it other than not eat those hooks. Like seriously, like, just because like both times you lose like sums and a significant amount of HP, and they were extremely avoidable. Like it's not like they're hooks where it's like, oh, I'm like all inning them, so he's like getting to melee range, E me, and then hook me. Like no, you're CSing and you're not being contested, and then he just like randomly throws it out and hits you. I'm not trying to like be too harsh on you, but I'm just telling you the reality of the situation that like these are extremely avoidable, and it is making it so like, to be honest, aside from pointing those things out, like it's hard to like coach on too many things because like right now there's going to be a period of time where you're just stuck here paying for what happened. Like it's just they're going to stack a wave on you and they could try to dive you, and I can help you to like make sure we get the most out of it, but it's going to be hard to curate a very winning situation out of this, barring their mistakes.
Yeah, understood.
So this situation, you're just that's a good W. Then the minion, get the cannon. Ooh, it's risky business, but you have Black Shield, and he'll probably hit it, so I think it's fine. Because when you're in a situation like that, so like I know he hasn't Black Shielded you in the other hooks, but when you're with a support like this, if you're in the wide open, he's ready. You know, like he wasn't ready the other time because he likes.
Because I guess he assumed that I was gonna like
Yeah, both times that you got hooked before, it was really avoidable, and it was just random that you got hooked. In this one, he knows, like, okay, Jinx rocketed the minions. He wants to get these CS. I'm going to be ready to Black Shield him. And he probably will back up here to let you do this. I don't know if he does. No, he doesn't. He's actually a psychopath. So this is really weird. Like, he's really confident that he can E, because right now, like, Blitz can do a no-look where he, like, looks one way and then hooks the other. And Morg has to, like, guess it right in a short period of time. So, like, he actually didn't Black Shield either of you guys. Like, he would have actually...
it looked like he was looking for like a Q or something. Like
yeah, I think he was. Like there might have been a chance that you actually like didn't get Black Shield if that hook hit.
Yeah.
But in general, so that's why I mentioned at the start of the game. Like there's a difference between Core JJ and newbie.
Okay. Yeah. That's true.
Like because part of bot lane is you want there's a balance between playing around your support and like but also in solo queue like you need to respect that they're not going to play everything perfectly.
Yeah, but then in that sense, like I don't even want to put myself at risk, even if it means I lose a bit, because you can't really always rely on your support, not just for Black Shield, but for like anything.
Yeah, totally.
The only thing that I do rely on my support for is Lantern, but I do normally ping like I ping like assistance behind me or something, and I ping assistance on myself or something, and then normally people get it. Especially at high elo, I don't even need to do that.
I think honestly, it comes down to just a case by case basis.
Yeah.
You don't treat the different players the same way. That's just a fact of the matter.
Okay.
Like the more games you play in high elo, the more players you'll learn, and you will get to a point where unless somebody's on a Smurf, you'll know everybody, and you can judge that. Like, I have a really good read on like what level of players most players are at, and I will legitimately draft accordingly to my like my.
Let's see, you mean like you're gonna pick Ezreal if you think he's horrible or something?
But like more specifically, I'm like, okay, I know this guy is good at Thresh. He tries to play a bunch of engaged supports, but he fucking sucks at engaged supports. But he's good at Thresh. So I'm gonna pick Aphelios, and I'm gonna tell him, can you play Aphelios Thresh and get him onto his one trick? And we're playing a strong combo, and like I actively encourage that, because if I didn't, we're gonna be stuck with like Aphelios fucking like Rel lane or something, and it's not even, which is not that bad, but it's not like it's bad when your Rel has like a 30% win rate, right? Like so, like you kind of sometimes you need to
I do
That's
normally
like
draft based on support, although I've mostly just been sticking to Jinx and Kai'Sa. Like based on what they play, I do pick accordingly, or depending on pick order,
Yeah.
because Jinx is really high prio right now.
Yeah, that's kind of the meta right now. Like obviously,
Yeah.
it changes with the meta. Sometimes it's better to just pick what's best. I'm just saying that was kind of more of an
Yeah.
anecdote to like, because the more important stuff is in game. It's like all right.
No,
I have
definitely, but like
Cordier.
there's so much out of game stuff that's also important. And I also try
Mhm.
not to annoy anybody because I feel like people actually go out of the way to in or like soften.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's you're only putting yourself at risk. Like it's instant gratification to let people know that they suck or whatever, but like it doesn't. It's only gonna hurt yourself. You're shooting yourself in the
Yeah,
foot.
totally.
Okay, so this lane state, they're actually gankable if Zach gets an angle because they're pushing up pretty recklessly. This could be a good gank here if he gets the hop. He's finishing.
I think
his
we
blue
were
drop.
pinging him too.
Basing.
I think we were pinging.
Yeah, it looks
him
like they're basing, or no, she's staying. But he wants to do his blue gromp, which is understandable, but they're not too overextended. He used his W's. This is going to give you a big window where they actually have no spells right now. Oh, he showed on a word that blows. Okay, so they're going to play safe because they have no hook. They actually have hover from mid and jungle, I think. So maybe they can still play aggro even though they have nothing. Yeah, Lissandra E through that wall is very long range. So this is all good. You're playing defensively, 3v4. Oh, one shot. Oh, no. Botched. Maybe, what, it still works? That works?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah. Watch your back. I think it's just Kindred trolling.
Yeah, like it should be a chain CC one shot, but then once it's not layered, I feel like she should be able to get R off unless she doesn't have it randomly.
I don't know if she has it or not.
Yeah, because that looks like a one shot to me, but then as soon as that happens that way, it gets scary. Yeah, no, he actually put on a movement command. I think he could art, but it's okay. I mean, we'll take those all day.
And that I feel like that kind of stuff happens very often in Solo queue where they try to
Right?
do a dive and it gets griefed.
Oh yeah, totally. It's so common. Like it's good to, like, we could talk all day about what should happen in theory, but at the end of the day, what happens is what happens. Like there is no theory, like in reality. Like I mean, that's not true actually, but like you get what I'm trying to say. That was very poorly articulated.
Yeah.
I think you know what I mean. Okay, so that was a huge super play. Like we just got. Oh my goodness, that is the dream. Like your
Yeah,
sums
no,
are
like
back
I'm behind
up,
and then they grief and then I just get ahead. And I get the
Yeah, like
tower
the-
and the minions.
the game is just one off of like this combo right here. I think like this is incredible. Like you can go mid, you have 1-3-1 Fiora Kiana winning their side matchups. This could even be
I guess now watching it back, I can see I guess I can see like how I was able to get back in the game, but in the moment I just felt like how can I like replicate this kind of stuff? But I guess in this case that's not really replicable.
yeah, no, I think you got very like generous donation from
Yeah.
the enemy after you gave them a generous donation. And I think that like you would be like you don't need those donations if you don't make the initial mistakes. Like I think the most important like takeaways are from the get go. And
Okay.
but don't get me wrong, there are going to be times when you're in losing situations, and the way that you played that out in a defensively was really good. Like you didn't get overly punished for the bad situation you were in. Like there's another world where you're like greeting things that you shouldn't, and you get hooked again with no sums, and you die, and then that play is never even possible because you were dead off that timer. So like I don't want to take credit away from you because even though they inted, like you made it possible by playing accordingly to the conditions that you're giving. Like you didn't give them anything extra for the last couple minutes, so that's good on you.
All right.
Because like a lot of times you need to be like letting the enemy make the mistake, but if you're making the mistake first, then like they don't have the time to make that mistake. Or you want, ideally, I think, is when you're forcing the enemy to make mistakes by putting pressure on them. That's what we should strive for typically. If they're disengaging here, it's kind of hard to contribute beyond.
That like I literally contributed almost nothing to that fight. I don't know if I could have.
Yeah, no, that's why I was saying it's kind of difficult to contribute because it feels like you didn't do much, but it's hard to do much here.
Like I
let's
can't
see.
flash. I didn't think I could flash over the wall, but I definitely
Yeah, no.
would have if I saw the angle.
It's kind of difficult. So I think, let's see here. Let me watch it out one more time. Okay, so I think there's a waste of a W input right there. That was kind of awkward to get go. I'll just critique.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
little
No,
thing.
you can critique all the mechanical stuff because I don't really know how I could have done this differently.
Yeah. So right here, this approach is fine. The thing about this W is you're stopping your movement, and it doesn't actually hit. partially because of the way that Zach CT works. So this is fine. You're hitting what you can here. Okay, as soon as Alessandro E's over and commits R, you know you're safe to, well, not really safe, but
Do you think I could have walked up a little more?
No, I don't think so actually.
Yeah,
'cause,
okay,
like,
okay.
this ult would hit you. Blitz doesn't have hook, but like this, you can't go through this choke at any point. So like holding this wall, like you've hit everything you could, aside from maybe having missed like one auto because you chose to W instead of auto. That's like the only
Okay.
thing I've seen so far. That W was bad again. I don't think that it's. I don't think it was a good angle, and you didn't have vision of where you're throwing it either. So it's like pretty not guaranteed. The only thing I've seen this far is the W's, because like right here.
Okay.
So I haven't seen a good alt at all yet. There's been no good alts. Because you typically want to alt after this Kindred alt. It would be really ideal. This W just feels like I can't tell if you're aiming at this target in the bush or the Samira.
No, I was aiming at Samira, but I just missed.
Yeah, it's okay. It just happens to miss, but it just feels awkward.
I did time it and hit all 3 of them in that situation.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, okay, so I actually don't think there's anything you could have really done to turn this fight around. I think it just kind of, your team's over chasing, and it was kind of like this fight was really split for you guys, and it's kind of an over chase, and they landed like everything. Like there's a lot of times in this fight where they're hitting people like 4v1, 4v2, and you guys are kind of chasing into them, so it's like a 2v4, 2v3, even though you technically have even numbers. Like for instance, your uptime is like really poor here through no fault of your own.
And Fura just showed up now, so it's like it was like it's just awkward.
Okay, so this all makes sense.
Yeah.
With these things, I always like to break them down and see, but in hindsight, I don't think you could have made a significant difference. Barring some world where you just like straight up flash over this wall, heal them like fucking 360 no
with some hero players.
Some crazy shit, but I think that would probably rely on them misplaying their reaction. I don't think it's possible without them like fucking up in response. So yeah, I think that fight was just pretty terrible from your team. Like also, you have a Fiora that's trying to TP in when like he should just be playing side lane. Like that TP was terrible. The Zac engage was kind of botched. The only thing you could do differently was your Ws. Like maybe there's a world where if you don't waste your 2 Ws, like you get extra auto or they land, maybe you get a kill because there was like 2 people with like 3 HP. So maybe there's a world where you get 1 kill, but I don't think that fundamentally changes anything. Like that's not a big takeaway. So let's see. Kind of posturing on bot side. Right? The one thing that feels awkward about this game is it feels like your team is bleeding waves really hard. Like I guess that happens a lot when there's Kianas in solo queue.
Yeah.
They just kind of like surf the rift, and they're not like your team's economy is so bad right now because like, well, you kind of got the comeback off that one play with the kills and stuff, but so you're in a fine spot, even though you're probably down like maybe 20 CS from where you could have been. But across the map, I guarantee you, your solo laners are down like 20 to 40 CS, maybe even more from where they should be. Like experience is just, it feels really low right now. Like you're halfway to 10, your support's 8, and your solos and jungle are like 10. Your bear has 11. Enemy AD carry is the same level as your mid laner. Like the XP is just, so like going for these plays just feels so awkward because top wave is just in a neutral state, and your top laner is going to catch mid too. So like this wave's not getting farmed. But
maybe it's just a Kiana thing, or just the way the champ is, I guess.
Maybe this is randomly worth because you guys get the shutdown. So it's an opportunistic look, like it works.
Yeah, I guess it becomes worth, but it is. And then this happens too.
And a lot of these feedbacks I'm saying are just like discussing the game state. They're not actually things that you could change. I'm just
I
kind of flaming your team.
Yeah.
Like I'm just
no, I understand.
Because in general, like a lot of times I tell my students what their teammates could be doing better too. That way they can see the whole picture and like see what's not happening and why things feel weird. Because there's a lot of times where it's like I'm in a game and I'm like something feels like shit. What am I doing wrong? And then I look at the VOD and I'm like, no, this is actually not my fault. These guys are griefing. You know what I mean? But in the heat of the game, it's hard to see exactly what your teammates are doing because you're focused on performing your best yourself. So sometimes it
like I didn't even look at the mid wave really at all. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm definitely focusing on my own performance.
Sometimes it helps to hear like that it's not your fault. You know, it's like
reassuring. Sure.
Because it's good to be self-critical, but at the same time you also want to be realistic about the way things actually are. So I like that angle. Nice. Perfect.
It's like
That's
pretty
a wrap.
unnecessary, but it just
That's
better
so-
you got.
no, that's fucking worth, man. That's like you are a jinx, man. You need to carry. Like that's take the kills, take the kills. Like maybe it's not worth if you could have used your ult for another play in the next minute, but it's hard to know that. And there's every single point of gold on you is worth twice as much as a point of gold on any other champion at this stage on your
Yep.
team. Maybe Fiora. Okay, I'll give Fiora 1.5. You're only one. Like everybody else is twice as useful on you compared to Fiora. Like it's like slightly more useful, but like
Okay.
so just in general, like everything is yours. If my jungler is on his fucking chickens, I am hitting them with the big rocket when they're all 1 HP. That is the way you need
That's
to
something
play
I
this
actually never do. Like I take camps, but only if the jungler is not like going to it.
Okay, well, there becomes a bit of an ego battle where you have to be
Yeah,
careful.
it's like I'll do it if they won't like get like they're not gonna grief because
Yeah.
of it, but it's hard to know.
It's the same thing as like with your support. It's like you have to look at the nameplate and kind of play around it. It's like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're jungle Tarzans, you probably not take the chickens.
No,
If
for
you're
any Shaco
jungle-
player, I will never touch their camp. That is not legal for me.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess if it's like a Zac, then normally they'd be fine with it.
Yeah, like no, but if I've got like say I've got like a fucking LCS jungler playing Sejuani, like they know it's better for me to take the chicken.
Yeah, they won't be
Obviously,
upset.
that is like obviously the most extreme example possible, but like just as always,
Okay.
these are nuanced situations. But just in general, in hyper carries, the worst thing you can do is not be selfish enough as a hyper carry, like because there's so many times where you could fuck your teammates and then 1v9 late game by obviously that's not what you should try for. I'm not saying like to just be like a super greedy solo queue player only, but like there's a time and a place. Like you just need to identify when you're the win condition, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
we can rewatch that fight.
yeah, I mean honestly, the rocket was the only thing that was kind of bad, but and you probably could have had more fluid movement, but your positioning and your damage output was pretty much all there. So good layer CC.
I thought we were out, and that's why I like walked away.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Like you missed a little damage, it's not a big deal. This is a good spot to stand. I like that you're skirting the right side of the fight. You're very safe position. Perfect. I think the ult was really unnecessary. You probably could have just kept auto attacking and even held it. Because
Okay.
she's pretty much guaranteed no matter what she does. It's one of those situations where if nothing happens, you're in a winning spot. So the only way you troll is by like
Not hitting,
Like-
I guess.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
Rocket's not really guaranteed damage. Yeah.
Maybe on this input right here, if you're like like lining up the alt with the Kiana alt, maybe like layered CC. But I don't know. It just feels, and even then, like going back to the doing this. Sorry, full screen. It goes back to the concept where it's like, Sorry, we'll play it out. Where like there was a clump of two people where it's like you probably in general you want to be hitting the clumps. Like, I know Samir's a prio target. Like right now I'm thinking I'm still autoing this guy, and then I'm autoing this guy, and then I'm rocketing these two after killing this guy.
Oh really?
Like,
Okay. Right there, I was like
Um,
fully focused on killing
Yeah,
Samir
no.
first.
I'm saying like in theory, I think you played it just fine aside from wasting rocket. Like
Okay.
your auto attack target, your target selection was good, your positioning was good, and aside from like slightly not weaving autos properly, which happens, it's like perfect. So I think
Okay.
all in all, you get an A, but you'd get an S if you didn't waste your ult too much.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
In general, I feel like my ability usage definitely needs work between like W and E and all. Could be better.
Yeah, and that could be a champion mastery thing too. Like that's the crazy thing about League is there's damn near 150 champions, so sometimes you'll make mistakes that are just specific to the champion only that aren't like fundamental things that are really relevant to other champions. So that's
Yeah.
and then sometimes your fundamentals can change based on what your champion is capable of. Also, like they don't have the same fundamentals always. So.
Mhm.
I try not to focus too much on champion specific things, but they're also extremely relevant a lot of the time.
Yep.
Okay, so it looks like your Zac's kind of far from Dragon, so it's going to be kind of hard to play for it fast, maybe, unless they're not contesting. It just feels kind of awkward with your Zac on top side with... I mean, I guess they can chase down Malphite here. This is good. It's good to walk down river and hover this play in case anything long breaks out, because it looks like we're playing for the Malphite pick for Dragon, which is really good. There's no Baron threat. They're Lissandra's top lane. This is all very free. Probably could have saved time on that play at a certain point, just accepting that you're
Probably.
gonna
I was trying to last it pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you for going for that, but it's just like the last hit is like worth the same as like the mid wave, which you might not get it by as a result of wasting time, because the mid wave's gonna crash on mid turret. So like it's technically more gold overall for your team, just min maxing. Really good to hug the wall there. You never gave him a hook angle, which is good. He could have been lurking. Nice juke. Didn't even need the shield.
Yeah, no, I was pretty confident even without the hook, would be fine.
Yeah, no, you played the range perfectly. That was just one of those things you intuitively feel.
Yep.
And get the turret here. Just one shot this real quick with the minigun. Life is good. Jinx hitting turrets with Baron is one of the best feelings. Probably keep hitting this.
Yeah, I was very careful to check.
Yep. Yep. For sure. Wave. Yep. Casters before melees is good because it gives you more space.
Yep.
And then like this rotation, cut this guy off. He's guaranteed dead. Maybe rotate into top, or there's not much to take right now. It's kind of just playing for red buff and top wave. I don't know if you can do anything here unless you get a random engage. Maybe the engage goes. What I'd be thinking right now, so this feels like a lot of wasted downtime right here, and there's nothing for you guys to do. So you have this amount of Baron left, right? It's probably what, like 30 seconds to a minute. I haven't actually looked at the timer. But anyway, so right now, when you walk up, this is all fine. I'd be thinking one of two things. Well, first off, I'd be thinking, what's my next buy? Am I finishing LDR, or am I buying a BF sword for IE and just sitting on the last whisper? If I'm buying a BF sword, like if they don't have much armor, sometimes it's okay. Or like if they don't have much health to where the LDR effect isn't giving you much like value out of the unique passive, then you may be okay to just sit on last whisper and start to go towards IE, because that crit multiplier is pretty insane. So if you're basing for a BF sword, I would base immediately. But if you want LDR, what I would actually do is I would literally run to red buffs and then Krug and then push out top. Actually, what I would do right here, because right now when I see these waves, I'm thinking, okay, Lissandra, Fiora, they're dead. Nothing's gonna happen for a while unless we get a random engage. They're probably not gonna give us range on mid wave, and it's probably in their favor if they hook us here. And our side waves are just kind of sitting idle. There's no turrets to take anywhere except for top lane. Top lane is where all the turrets are, and all of our vision is already on top side. So it would be really good for us to be in a situation where we can take this top turret and like play in their top side jungle up until Dragon becomes relevant. I haven't been paying attention to the drag timer. Maybe there's a world where Dragon spawns somewhat soon and you'd want to, that's not a good idea. But in general, I think if Dragon is more than like 2 minutes away here, maybe 3 minutes away, then, or I honestly haven't paid attention to how many dragons I've taken, or if it's like a second or third dragon that's inconsequential, that just playing for gold and playing in top side here is really good. Because what's going to happen, I don't know what happens here, but I feel like what's going to happen is everybody's going to jerk off for the next 30 seconds. Nothing's going to happen. People are going to respawn, and then people are going to run to waves. And it's just going to be like, the game is going to be so slow. When what could happen is you could have already had this wave pushed out, and like Fiora gets back on the map, slots into bot, you guys already have full control, and then she can push out bot and have a rotation into a strong side. But what's going to happen is if you guys are all trying to take control at the same time, when you guys are contesting here and Fiora showing on bot, they're just going to engage on you guys trying to take control of this space. Or what's going to happen is nobody even tries to play control or tries to take any space, and you guys are just going to run around like headless chickens for the next minute until somebody gets picked because you're not controlling space because you guys got back on the map so late and the waves weren't fixed at the proper time. Like, that's why I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like those are the most probable things to happen based on my experience in NA solo queue.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. And let's find
But
out. Because I straight up don't remember what happens either.
It looks like you want the mid wave for LDR, which makes sense. You can get the mid wave based on the back end of your Baron buff, unless she ganks the can. Oh no! Yeah,
bro, I got so cheesed. I was so cheesed.
Yeah, because if you could save the red buff till after your base,
yeah,
you got the
and now I have to take it, or I have to sell D-Blade, but taking red buff's probably better.
No, dude, I'm a D-Blade goblin, man. I know I'm supposed to sell it, but I don't.
Nah, like the 80 HP will make a difference, I swear.
No, I only sell my D-Blade when I'm in my team games, and I know that in VOD review they'll yell at me for it, for not getting the cords. Like I don't, when I'm in solo queue, I never do it unless I'm like playing with an LCS player and I want to impress them or something. Like I don't, but it feels like shit because I want my Omni Vamp, I want my ADHP. Dude, I play like such a maniac that the ADHP makes a difference half the time.
I believe it. I have played against you in solo queue a couple times, I think, but I don't really
I can
remember
be a
much
real
from it.
sprinter in solo queue.
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
run
sure
the
you
time
just
a lot.
sprinted it. I don't really remember though.
Yeah, I don't perform all the time.
I feel like that's the case with a lot of people.
When I play like my matches, I do like a lot of mental prep and like a lot of like getting in the zone, like getting hype and like preparing for like okay, what are the matchups gonna be? What style do they play? All that kind of stuff. When I go into solo queue, I'm probably stoned. Like I'm just like I'm like fucking AFK, just vibing, you know? Like I'm not really like tryharding to the same extent, which not all the time, just sometimes. Like and that's even if you play with somebody one time out of 10 times, they still only know you for that one time, right? So
Yeah.
it happens more than it should. So I acknowledge that I'm a solo queue sprinter. Because people will play with me in solo queue and then comp, and they'll be like, "Oh wait, I thought you were not so great, but you're actually really good." But that's kind of yeah, I'm kind of like. Well, also there's a lot of intangibles in a team environment that are hard to show in solo queue. Like I can't. It's
That's
hard
true.
to like translate a lot of the same skills, besides like mechanics and rotations and game knowledge and stuff. But that's only like half the picture.
Yeah.
So in this state, things actually played out pretty controlled. I thought you guys would have more top side control, but for how off tempo everybody was, the fact that Fiora got to like push out bot for free before anybody got picked is kind of impressive. So looks like you guys they're showing all these on top. You could probably just keep pushing down mid and probably just push mid bot. I don't
So
know.
even if they die, like it's whatever.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm trying to read the situation without knowing what happens based on what I see right now. 'Cause
I don't
can't
remember
know
what happens. Like
Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm thinking when I see these people chasing top, it feels really awkward to rotate into it unless like there's a world where Zach kites them into Kiana and Kiana just like hits a huge ult or something.
Yeah, that's
That
kind of
could
what
be
I was
big.
thinking. Yeah.
There could be a world. I don't mind hovering this play at least for a brief period because what could happen is you could walk this way and then realize oh it's nothing and then go back.
Then turn
It's totally
back.
fine. Yeah, because it's non-committal. But if play breaks out where Kiana hits a big ult, you want your rocket like send it in ASAP. So I don't mind this, but I do think I would prefer to be hitting mid here, but it could be okay to do this. Like Malphite is mid, so maybe actually not. But okay, this is.
Okay, actually, that's not even at all what I thought was gonna happen.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a world where Malphite can defend mid. Maybe you can't hit mid because Malphite can defend it anyway. It's just this whole thing felt really weird. Is all. I guess you're stalling for Fiora mainly. That's kind of your job right now. Is you're just waiting for Fiora to take inhib, and our job is to not die.
Yep.
And just fuck around so they waste time. You can kill them maybe. Okay. We got bot inhib, Baron's respawning, so this is all really good. Perfect time to get the bot inhib, so that should... I feel like this game is pretty won, because you can play Baron control, Crab is yours, most likely, and Drag, it's not relevant, I don't think. It's a Cloud, they only have 2. I don't think Fiora TP in the ball lane was super weird, but I guess...
He really wanted Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to some extent to eat camps and... Okay, dude. I guess you have the Shia on your team or something.
I guess
I thought if he TP on the wave, they'd be able to see it and react accordingly, like is all. I thought like... I like TPing, but I didn't know that he...
There's no way he was expecting to walk into Kindred by doing that.
But I like TPing into bot side before Dragon and eating bot camps. That makes sense fundamentally.
Yeah.
So, okay. Breeding Dragon, I mean, there's kind of a sunk cost where you hit it so much you might as well finish
But
it.
I got it to like 3k and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess the game's just won.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we just won now.
Yeah, and it's a general theme when I do VOD review. A lot of times the main takeaways are in like early to mid game because a lot of things that happen.
I mean, that's also what you can take away the most, I would say. Like, because you can apply that to many more games.
Yeah, a lot of times the late game stuff are just like macro things, like
Getting revenge.
understanding which waves to catch and being at the right place at
Hmm.
the right time. But a lot of times it comes down to just executing team fights. Um, okay, so the one thing that feels weird for your support to be on the map still without having reset for wards, maybe he wants to drop wards before. I mean, that's not on you. Everything you've done here is fine.
I
It
feel like
just
he's
feels weird
kind of just
that,
following me around.
yeah,
Oh,
okay,
this was so troll.
so I'm confused right here. Like,
Yeah.
so I feel like all the way from back here, I feel like unless your support has a ton of wards, this is just a base angle. Like, it's okay for you to get this mid wave. Like, what I think from should happen from right here, somebody
Yeah.
like make sure their bot camps are pretty much eaten. Like, walking through red and chickens here is all good, and then eating the mid wave, and then your support should be basing right now. Like, you should just sit on this pink and then base. And what's gonna happen is you and your support are gonna like sync up around red buff at the same time, pretty much. Like, you're gonna walk off mid wave and you're gonna walk back and you're gonna walk to red buff and your support will walk into red buff. You guys can get red buff and
Yeah.
then go through mid and then get control, and that control timer will be kind of synced up with your Fiora getting split pressure, or at this point, honestly, Fiora could group, so like it'll be synced. I mean, Zach will be kind of late, but as long as you guys don't get it engaged on, it's no big deal. But this feels really weird. The fact that like are really off tempo on these bases right here. Like, they ran around for a circle. Maybe he's trying to hover you to make sure you can get the wave. But then
Yeah.
it is
I don't
it's
know.
super illegal that you walk into the top side here. Like, because there's no reason to. Like, there's just nothing. Like, wait, is crab up maybe? Is crab, is that what you're going for? I can't tell. With the
I
resolution.
don't think
I
there's
don't
a
think
crab.
it
I
is.
think she wanted to sweep, and then this was like a huge grief. Like I typed a bunch in chat. And I was like, yeah, my bad. Like just wait for me.
Yeah. Okay. Because this just it. I don't understand why you would ever want to walk this way. It just doesn't make sense. Like, there's nothing to play for. So it's one of those
Yeah,
plays where
not
you're,
sure.
you're not thinking. You're
I
not
think I was just
thinking,
kind of autopilot because I was like, yeah, there's no way they can beat. I'll just walk in and help him get
Yeah.
vision or something.
and even if you're trying to help your support get vision, like, you should think, is this good for me or not? Like, because you need to be selfish enough to where, like,
Yeah,
is this
true.
like, I don't even think he
It's
had
because
a
I
word.
didn't base, I guess, and I was like, yeah, I can help out. Like, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, but it's one of those plays where it's like, fundamentally, when you think about like the cadence of the game, like the ebb and flow, like it's really their turn right there. Like, you guys made the play
Yeah.
bot lane, you
Yeah.
ate their whole bot side, you ate the mid wave, and they're not showing on the mid wave. So you guys made a 3-step play, and they haven't taken a single step. Like, granted, they're down tempo because they died, but there's also something that like it's called an int timer, where it's like when somebody ints, they get an int timer, and that's basically like, we think about it, when they're dead, that's basically like they recalled on a delay. So they're gonna have, and when you recall, you're usually first on the map. So at the end of their, basically, if you're not basing by before the time that they died, they actually have the tempo advantage, even though they were dead. So
Yeah.
something to consider is it's a really good idea. Like, a lot of pro teams do this, where is if there's nothing left to take that's good, is they'll base on really high death timers. Like, granted, if they could take out like the whole enemy's jungle or whatever, they'll stay all the way because they can get more. But if they're in this situation where there's, I'm not really saying for you because you only have like 300 gold and nothing to buy, it doesn't really matter. But like, that's why I'm mentioning like I'm kind of flaming your like mid and support.
Yeah.
Because they were really griefing their tempo, for no reason. Like, I could understand like maybe Kiana needed the chicken for item and then she can base, but she like ran into river for like 5 seconds. And your support, I can understand if he needed to eat some of the mid wave or needed some XP for 11 or wanted to drop a ward, but like, there's no conceivable reason. So it was just a poor utilization of time, I think. And then as a result, like, I don't think that. So these are actually things that I'm thinking about in the game about my teammates to understand like how the game flow is going. Like, I'm
Okay.
not just saying things in VOD review. Like, I'm actively thinking about how I fit into the big picture. Because
Okay.
it's super,
I don't think that's normally something I give too much thought, but I'll try to do that more.
because it's more of an advanced thing, but it's super helpful. Is when I know that my teammates are doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Like, I want to be the shepherd instead of the sheep, and I will lead them to do what I think is optimal, as opposed to following them doing something suboptimal. And maybe that comes just from
That's
like
kind of hard for me
confidence.
to do, I think, right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that.
Yeah, I am speaking from a different place, so I'm not saying you should like overnight just say start bossing people around. But
No.
it's just things. It's just things to look for because it starts with the thought process. Like the first layer of it is just thinking about what other people are doing. You don't have to tell them like a single, and I'm sure you are to some extent, but like not to the levels that I'm talking about, where it's like,
No.
what is their role, and like, in the I think if I were to summarize it, because I don't want to make it too complex to where like I'm trying to make you say. I'm not making it so you need to learn every single role to like challenger level in order to just play AD carry. Like I'm not saying that deep. But what I do think is helpful is knowing the enemy, what your teammates need to do as how it relates to your role. Like if when your jungle can hover your wave, or when he can gank for your lane, or pathing is how it relates to how you can play out your matchup. Like I don't think you need to worry too much of like, okay, my top laner matchup is volatile, and here's how the jungle matchup goes. So I'm gonna tell my jungler he needs to path this way. Like it doesn't need to get like that. That level does exist, but that's a bit ridiculous. Like because obviously
I'm definitely not going to be at that level anytime soon. And even if I do, it's not that I don't know it, but I can't do that while also focusing on my own stuff, I guess.
Yeah, totally. That's why I mentioned that exists, but where I think that you can actually have tangible improvement is just think about how people are going to affect your game state. Like, for example, some things is like, okay, is my mid laner, how does my mid laner and I like want to allocate the farm in the mid game? Like, can they catch side waves, or am I playing Kai'Sa and they're playing Victor, so maybe I should actually be the one inside? Or is my top laner a tank that wants to make TP plays, or do I have the split pusher that's never going to TP and I need to respect the TP advantage? Do I have like the ganking jungler or the farming jungler? Like you don't need to make these things too complex.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I can tell like the way you're playing out the game, you're not really considering these things enough to where like for instance, like the Kindred clear in that game, like these are things that I'm thinking about that like from the get-go almost every single time. And if I'm not consciously thinking about it, it's because I have already understand it enough to where I intuitively know it. So, and I think part of that just stems from the more and more confident that you get in your own play, you start thinking about other things because the other things become second nature. So, yeah, I don't want to make too big a deal out of it. I just think that it doesn't hurt to discuss is all.
No, I agree.
Okay, so that's a long death timer. Scheme might stall out a bit. I do think in general, this is probably the right lanes where you want to have everybody around top and play for top turret, keep Baron control. Good eat all this. Miss the 2 melee minions for the Krugs though. That kind of goes back to the topic of like viewing the minions before camps, because I know it doesn't really matter at this stage at all, but like it hurts to watch as far as like good fundamentals.
Yeah, I don't really know much about that. Like I try to do camp and then just turn for the minion whenever it's low, basically.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting thing to keep in mind.
Just the most simple way to think about it is Krugs ain't going anywhere there, and you just let 2 minions die right next to you. You know, it's just like that's not like overly complicated.
Yeah. No, it's not. But I guess in general, it's just like not knowing can lead to those situations.
Oh yeah, totally. Like it's so much easier to say with the digested knowledge, because it's like
it's like I know that now, but I didn't know that before. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm here for. Like and sometimes I use hyperbole to like show how simple it is, just so because it like ingrains that in the student's mind, where it's like I'm like, oh, it's like, look how simple it is, just do this for that reason. That makes it that usually has better effect than some of the long random rants that I go on. A lot of the times those don't go anywhere, and those are almost just for me to talk to myself. But yeah. Jokes partially, but there's some truth to that, you know.
Yeah, no, I get that. You know, as someone who also does some coaching, I totally get that.
Yeah, it's like there's the weight, the amount of utility compared to how much time I spend talking about it can be a bit mismatched. Like some of the simple things have some of the most effect, some of the most complex things don't actually move the needle.
No, I don't. I mean, and I don't really mind knowing it, because I mean, you should know that. Like every point you're saying, like I'm gonna give it more thought later. So, like the more things, it's probably better.
If I were doing coaching sessions that had no VOD or like any way to like review after the fact, I would never talk about half the shit that I talk about, because it's not a one session type concept, you know. It's not like it's just I try to always give the most out of the session to the student, because a lot of times like I never want a student to feel like they wasted their money, you know. That'd be the worst.
Yeah, no, I 100% get that.
So I would rather do too much random shit and then have like the baseline kind of like as like add to it and do both and like be missing something. So that's just kind of my philosophy, and it makes it more fun for me. I enjoy doing sessions when I get to talk about things that I think are relevant, rather than just saying like, yes, you need to hit 10 CS per minute. Yes, you need to show up at fights at time. Yes,
I
you
actually
need
don't
to...
know how I feel about my CS. Like sometimes I feel like my CS is great, and then sometimes I don't.
No, that was the ironic part of that statement. Is you don't actually need 10 CS a minute, but that's what a lot
No.
of the coaches say. You know, they're like they rehearse the same like points that aren't actually as pertinent to climbing as some of the more nuanced random things that I will talk about. Anybody can say like, yeah, farm well, don't die, kill people, but like not everybody can talk about some of the theoretical stuff that I discuss, and that's why I want to contribute, because that's what distinguishes me. That's why you came to me instead of like FS and Saber for some instance.
No, but that's the thing, because like I have been wanting to get coaching for some time, but I didn't know who, because like it would have to be someone from that I generally respect or I think is better than me, because like I don't want to be mean, but I probably wouldn't want Saber coaching at this point, because we're probably close in skill levels. So
yeah, and there's no LCS AD carriers that do coaching.
Like no one does coaching, so who is there?
So I have the niche on lockdown because I'm like the highest. Like I won LCS Proving Grounds, so I'm technically the 11th spot, and the 10 LCS players don't coach, so I get to be the top.
You're right.
even if I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know if any LCS players do coaching. I don't think so.
No, it's not worth their time, bro. It's really not.
Or if they did, they would charge like $200 for an hour.
The lowest paid AD carry in LCS is making like 150K or something.
Yeah, I might have to get to LCS.
So, it's just like the auto recommended.
Yep. Yeah, I wasn't even looking at the screen. I was just thinking.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope that was useful. You said you already have the recording on your end, or do you want me to send it to you? Were you recording as well?
Yeah, I was also recording it. I think everything should be good. I'll let you know if whatever happens.
I can send you my version of it, but it takes a while to upload. So if I don't need to, I'm not going to upload it. But I totally can if you want it. So.
I think I'm good for now, but I'll let you know if I need it, I guess. It should be okay. It should be fine.
Yeah, I'll keep it on my computer for like a couple months, so it'll be there if you want it. And I hope that was useful. I enjoyed that. We'll keep in touch. I can't wait to see you hit Challenger because you're super close. So.
Yeah, like honestly, I think I'm pretty confident I'll hit it, but I just don't know. Like after that, like I don't know what I want to do first of all, and like if I did want to try like going pro or whatever, then all this stuff becomes really important.
Mm-hmm.
And even if
you're doing the number one first step, because no matter what you do, being high rank is so OP. Even if you don't want to be a pro, like even for like getting esports jobs, being Challenger is like a big check mark. Like you said, you worked for like Pro Guides or whatever. Like your rank is what got you the it's like having, it's the League of Legends version of having like a degree, for instance. Like it just gives you the qualification to be like, oh, you could go coach collegiate, you could go whatever the fuck you want. You could do nothing with it and just say, "Hey, I'm a Challenger."
I mean, honestly, at the very least, it's just a nice flex. Yeah.
That is the pinnacle rank. Like that is the quote unquote I made it in solo rank. You know, like that's the highest rank that exists. So that in itself, if it's a huge achievement as a gamer. So
yeah,
looking forward to seeing you hit that, and be sure to let me know when you do. I'll be cheering for you. So
thank you.
Good luck with that, my man. Any other questions or?
I mean, I think we're pretty good. Honestly, that went a lot more in depth than I was expecting. I was expecting I was expecting kind of little in a sense. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess I was expecting more nitpicky stuff and less fundamental stuff. I thought I mostly had the fundamental stuff down, but there's definitely still a lot that can be worked on. Even though I think my skill level at its current level is enough to get Challenger, it's not even nearly enough to like do anything past that. So yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, Challenger is the first step. Like, it's a huge accomplishment, don't get me wrong, but there is a huge difference between Challenger and like competitive play.
Huge.
Like learning the competitive side of the game.
And even just the waves, I noticed that. Like, I feel like I've learned a lot about waves, but even like a lot of the Challenger ADCs I've been playing against, like, they don't do the ideal thing all the time at all.
Yeah, and it's also hard to in solo queue sometimes because,
true.
Like we were talking about before, like the ideal thing as AD carry, oftentimes like having like your jungle support hover you while you push out like a side lane all the way to tier 2. Like that would be technically be optimal in some situations, but there's no way you're going to get that hover, and if you try to do it, you're going to feed your ass off. Yep. So you have to adapt on the fly. So that's why I try not to like always be too nitpicky on like what actually happens versus what should happen. Like I acknowledge what should happen, that way student understands what can exist in theory, but at the end of the day, it's about confronting the situations that are actually in front of you and making the best of them. So, because that's what solo queue is all about, right? Like, you're not gonna. It's not LCK. It's NA solo queue.
Yeah, no, NA solo queues. I mean, I don't think the quality is actually horrible, but I mean, it's definitely not the same level at all.
Yeah, no, it's just not in the same sentence as LCK. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll
Obviously,
definitely keep you updated on what goes on. Hopefully, challenge here in a couple days and go from there.
Yeah, don't rush it. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So, but yeah, I'm sure you could. So, I believe, I have faith. I saw a lot of good things today. I saw a lot of good things, and then I saw a few like really bad things. Like, so if you just get rid of those few really bad things, like your overall baseline is pretty good. So I think that'll be the difference maker. So just like focus on not like randomly losing your sums and just getting. I mean, to be fair, like the matchups that we were watching were pretty volatile. Like, it's not like you're laning against like an enchanter where you're just gonna take slow trades. Like,
No, and
like,
that's why I didn't want to pick an enchanter lane for the most part, because like I don't think the enchanter lanes really show like both your mistakes and your strengths. But like I really love that engage meta, I guess, on supports, because that's where like
totally.
it really comes in.
It's just a lot more fast-paced decisions, whereas the enchanter lanes often become wars of attrition.
Yep.
But they can still have like mind games, like in a sense, like even then that Lulu Jinx game, the first one, like while it wasn't as flashy, like you were still kind of bleeding waves on like bad base timings.
Yeah,
that,
no,
like
totally.
that are still like those are good. They aren't as fundamental, like, or not as flashy as far as like takeaways. Like, oh, I didn't flash this combo. I didn't know this matchup properly. But like those are still important nonetheless. So
All right. Well, I'm gonna go play some solo queue. Thank you for the coaching.
Yeah, it was fun, man. We'll keep in touch and cheers. It was a pleasure.
All right. I'll see you.
All right, take care, brother. Have a good one.
You too.